Bells, Hacker Hameen, we're here. You know it, it's your Wednesday night, twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen live here, where all the cool kids hang out, infidels at Twitch. Not that piece of shit YouTube where they're trying to shut us down, censor our free speech. No one censors the Horsemen. We go over strong every time, infidels. And if you're not watching us here live, being a part of the chat room, you might be catching us on the Realm Network, Russo brand on the replay, hackerhameen.podbean.com, iTunes, Stitcher, coming to more platforms soon, infidels. We're going to be everywhere. You can't escape us. The truth will surround you. The awakening will overcome you, and you cannot escape the Conspiracy Horsemen, infidels. Yo, Allah, yes. Hear me now. I see you in the chat room loading up already. I like it. I like it very much, infidels. We're all here ready to rock and roll tonight. It's going to be a hot show. We're all got big heat tonight. There might be a record breaking of swearing and shoot promos, infidels. But right now, check me out. Well, excuse me. I got to add my 2 cents in. Don't be alarmed. The rhyme was condensed in a matter of minutes, so it must be told. All that glitter's not gold. Everybody wants a deal. Help make a demo. See my name in bright lights right around in a limo, infidels. And we'll ride around anywhere we want to in any vehicle, because it's either planes, trains, and automobiles, but we're going to bomb atomically here tonight on the Franklin scandal with the Conspiracy Horsemen. YOLO! Hey guys, how's it going, everybody? Glad to be back. It's our Wednesday night special. You know where it is. You guys are in the right spot to make it happen tonight. I'm here with my brothers. I've been looking forward to this. You know, Wednesday's a tough hump to get over, but every time I get to hang out with these guys, it makes the week that much better. So I want to give a shout out right now to all my brothers right now. GGP, live from New York City, about to get busy. How's it going on, man?
It's going well, man. We're going to have a very frustrating 2 hours, to say the least.
Yeah.
The topic that we have to touch on hand. But to be honest with you, though, I'm looking at Stevie, and his arms are giving me a chubby in that sleeveless shirt. So
the clean face
over there.
Yeah, the clean face and the big arms. Jesus,
and the green
Christ.
screen is accentuating the cuts in his shoulders and his arms.
He's big.
You're looking good, Stevie.
I switched to a low-res camera, so it brings out more vascularity. It's nice.
God damn, pal.
Thank you.
Damn it, pal, you're looking vascular.
I'm exchanging texts with my wife because there's about 3 inches on each side of the green screen, and she just wants to know that, you know, she should walk by or not.
Oh, dude,
yeah. She is.
Tell her she is always welcome.
There's a Chris Envy on each side of the screen, I see, huh?
No, you're not. She's not. They're not going to be seen, man. No doubt about it. If it is, it's more than a Sasquatch sighting at this point. So, you know, she's all good. But Stevie, are looking jacked and tan, my man. Working hard. Workout of the day is going great. Everything going down. I actually went to GNC today. I almost re-upped on some pre-workout because I just finished my test sample that you gave us there, man, but I couldn't pull the trigger.
Test.
Yeah, test.
My test sample. I'd be a lot bigger and a lot thinner if I was on test. But you know, I didn't go for the cellular core C4. I'm going to wait until the product's released, and then I'm going to buy double the amount. So I'll be the first one out of the gate, man, because that stuff was awesome. But you're looking great. How you doing?
Everything's good. I apologize that there's nothing wrong at all. Has been just talked about before with the product. It's ready to go. It's just really red tape stuff, and I guess that's the good version of what could have happened, because we could have spent a year trying to get the taste down, the potency, the all natural mix, and that was very easy. So I knew it was too good to be true. It's like, wow, we're going to be ahead of schedule on this thing. And oh no, hit the brakes.
Yeah, no, the girl at GNC wanted to know about it. She's like, what's it going to be called? I won't tell anybody. I was like, well, you could have listened to it a couple shows ago when it got stooged off. But I was like,
chat room, it'll be exposed soon enough.
But I didn't stooge it off, and I didn't buy any Cellucor
powder,
C4. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait, because, man, I actually had to use tonight's show as my motivation to lift more, because I was out of it. And, boy, I could feel the difference. That 15 pounds I can add on the rack there when I'm working out. When I was taking that stuff, it's just awesome, man. It's way different than that methamphetamine high feeling of that Cellucor products and all that tingle where your fingers are tingling, all shit. This stuff is far different. Just focused, ability to go for it, and not a sweat where it's just pumping out of you where you feel exhausted, kind of. So I'm excited for it, man. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Be patient, everybody. I will get it out as soon as possible.
Yeah, somebody said, "Oh my God, it's a shake." No, it's more than that. I'm here to tell you, it's definitely something special. But Big Salala, I know you guys been doing your video game thing, blowing away zombies or just
Dude,
residents.
No, they're people. They're just normal people that he's murdering and reviving and then shooting again.
What?
Everybody thinks Stevie's the nicest
there's a
guy.
little glitch in the game. We're playing Far Cry 5, by the way, and we'll probably bring it to this stream once we get all the monetization figured out and everything. But, there's a glitch in the game, and I'm really disappointed with it, that when you shoot a rocket launcher at somebody, you can revive them afterwards. I don't feel like that's very realistic. And I had to test it 3 or 4 times.
If you shoot animals with it, it ruins their pelts.
I noticed that.
But the realistic part of it is if I'm standing by him and he shoots it, it hits me in the face. The back blast from the RPG hits me in the face, and I take damage from it.
True. What about the girl that I shot and then I started
and then
punching
carried her and then slamming her, and then all I hear as I come around the corner, I hear boom, 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 and he's just fucking kicking her in the face. And I come around the corner, he's picking her up and he's slamming her on the ground. I'm going, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Let's go do the other thing." And he's like, bang, bang. And he's just beating his dead body up. I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
So for people out there, it does have some Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, it has amazing Grand Theft Auto.
And that's Far Cry 5, you said? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Especially, slamming your plane into the...
I was making pretend that they were part of the Franklin Group scandal. I thought she was a part of it.
Oh.
Slamming the Nancy Browns, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's it looks like you guys were having a good time, man. So if you're a gamer, that's something we're going to try and do. Obviously, Twitch, the platform for that. And we're kind of using and abusing it, obviously, to spread the truth, which I'm totally down with. But it started as the video game platform. So if you guys want to hook up with Stevie and Big Sal going down the road here, I'm not sure if Papa Don's got time with 19 kids and whatnot to play video games to do all that. But you guys can probably join the fold and get in on it. So look for that. We're going to keep explaining the platform. We're talking about doing some review shows of stuff. People were talking to us about Westworld today, how we need to get into it. I gave it the first 2 episodes, and I just was like, but if you guys are telling me it's the shiz, we'll try it. I definitely want to do a Sopranos review. People have been asking me for that, one of my favorite shows of all time, and never know what guests we could get on now because the talent agent who actually hooked us up for the show with History Channel and the producers, she booked a lot of stuff for The Sopranos, so I wouldn't mind trying to use that connection to maybe get. I'd love to have Paulie on here, something like that where we can.
I couldn't do it. I would just be laughing the entire fucking time.
Yeah. But we got FBI anyway, so we can get the official, Italian stallion versions from Stevie and him. But I actually used a Paulie line last night on Realm Network with Russo, where he was trying to talk about Ruby Riott, and I said "faccia brute," which I took that from Sopranos. So one of the few Italian things I can get over. He popped big for it too. So. But yeah, guys, it's going to be an interesting and hairy night. We got a pretty decent-sized mailbag to go through as well. Do you want to start with that, or you want to get into the heaters?
Okay, well, this is what I want to say. So, do we just dive into dark first and then use the mail as the palate cleanser?
Yeah, I think
I don't want to answer emails when we're pissed off and we're angry.
Yeah, I'll be
the
too
wrong words
fucking
might
hot.
come out. We might lose subscribers.
I think I gotta agree with that. Stevie, you in for that?
I'm in for. I'm just along for the ride. I'm
right,
looking out for cultists to kick around.
Just one last
Go ahead,
run
buddy.
back to Far Cry for a second. There's that show on Netflix, Wild Country? Wild Country. It's about some fucking weird cult. And it's the same. All I kept thinking about was Far Cry. I'm like, as I'm following the story for Far Cry, and then somebody's like, "Oh, you got to watch Wild Country," or whatever the fuck it's called, and it's about a crazy religious cult up in the mountains. And I'm like, the only way to deal with them is to kill them. It's the only way to handle it.
You think that, but then did you watch The Outsiders? They kind of took it off for a little while. Now it's been on. It was phenomenal. So I don't think you want to be running up the mountain on yeah. Your ass might be coming down quartered on a
family.
Oh,
it's just a family.
Okay, all right. But yeah, man, there's a little of that going on around me where I'm at too. So, but to see that Kentucky style, I'm surprised they didn't turn. What's her name? Sarah Logan from the Riot Squad into that even more, because that show was pretty goddamn hot, man, for sure.
She would be like a Bray Wyatt, a female Bray Wyatt.
Right, right. But they're just, they're only getting 30% out of whatever it is. So
yeah, but we talked about Vince. I mean, we're making a joke, but legitimately, Vince may have just saw Breaking 2 last week.
Yeah, the Outsiders.
Yeah.
That's why they had the dance off this week.
We had dance off, and also we had Master Street Theater was Vince rehearsing a dance off, and then I started playing Stand Back.
Stand Back.
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh boy, I like this song.
Let's get that crazy legs.
Hey pal, watch this move. Ooh, yeah, I'm twerking. Look at these grapefruits swinging. Yeah. So yeah, that's your little preview of Master Shoot Theater. Vince McMahon doing some choreography for the ladies this week. Good time, man, for sure. And that's another thing we keep saying we want to do, but I'm definitely going to lay that out this week. Possibly our first, paid show. Do a old timey Master Shoot Theater. We'll have a good time with it. So yeah, getting over to your guys' mailbag. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. We're definitely seeing what's going on there. Glad you're all participating. And let's see here. So before I see how quick I can get blown up doing this. So Robert Russo says, Horsemen, what the fuck is up? This is conspiracyhorseman@gmail.com. Been listening to the show from the get-go. I'm a truck driver, so I listen to Conspiracy Podcast 12 to 14 hours a day. Wow. Surprised you haven't taken that truck off the road a couple times, brother. Fuck. The Conspiracy Horseman is definitely one of my top favorites. Thank you. Along with the Infinite Fringe and the Higher Side Chats. All great shows. Crow 777 is number one. Sorry, boys. Hey, no apologies there. We love Crow 777. Great mind, and happy to have him on hackerhotmean.podbean.com.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, I'm writing to you for a few reasons. First off, I'm listening the other day and Sale dropped some racist and offensive shit saying the word ginger. Word really ticks me off. As a redhead myself, I don't take kindly to that shit, but because Sal's a giant, I guess I can let it slide. Haha. So
lucky Sal.
So the other thing, a few episodes, is being ginger racist? Is it ginger a race? So I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
I called Abraham from The Walking Dead ginger, and he popped for it. So fuck him. Fuck this guy.
So the other things, a few episodes ago on the Infinite Fringe, you and Billy Ray were talking about the Hasidic Jews, and I think, like you said, where are we? This is
here we go.
Yeah, like you said, you four should roll up on those racist, arrogant assholes and see if they fuck with you. It would make a great YouTube video. On some real shit, though, trying to wake people up is a real pain in the ass. My family thinks I'm crazy and that I have too much time on my hands. I started off slow with the chemtrails, like you said, but still no luck. Then tried to dump some Jordan Maxwell on them. No luck, though. I really think that most are happy not knowing and wanting to go through life Helen Keller style. It's shows like this that make me feel not so isolated, so thank you. I'm mostly trying these days to spread awareness that our First and Second Amendment rights are under attack. I'm 28 and my friends, and it seems my generation just don't give a shit. I just hope for my unborn child's sake that all children alike, we don't one day wake up in V for Vendetta world or some 1984 style Animal World bullshit. Well, I think you mean Animal Farm, but 1984 is the other book. Although we are pretty much there, so some good pointers to help spread awareness would be great. I'm going to apologize for my grammatical errors in this gender-neutral electronic letter, as I'm a trucker and most of us folks uneducated, and plus I'm doing this shit on my mobile device, hopefully not while you're driving. However, I will not apologize for the length of this colorful language. The length and the colorful language that was used, First Amendment, much love, brothers, Rusa Kong. P.S. Tell Stevie my fat ass is starting SRF next week, and I'm super excited about it. And GGP, a Greek, will probably invent the band that I purchase. So, thanks, man. Thanks, Robert Russo, Bobby Russo, for writing.
Asian child will make it.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
you know what's
go
funny?
ahead, buddy.
You know. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. When he said a bunch of Helen Kellers, you know why Helen Keller was a bad driver?
Why?
Because she's a woman.
I'd like to apologize to all our deaf and blind listeners.
No Jeff Lane.
Yeah.
No Jeff Lane. You're not getting free video.
I'm pretty sure Jeff Lane doesn't listen to this show.
Doesn't. I don't care.
Get closer to the mic, Helen Keller, because I can't hear or see you.
I don't care.
Yeah, man. It is the frustrating part of it. In a 28-year-old, and I don't want to just throw a millennial label on you because you sound like you're trying, man, and that you're awake. And I know at that age, when I was that age, I was getting red hot too, man. So the most you can do is just continue being right and continue down the path that you're going, and they're going to come to you as the resource because you've already established yourself. They might think you as the crazy one now, but you've dropped the pebble in the pond and you've made the ripples, and they're going to see things for themselves eventually, smaller or bigger, and they're going to come back to you, man. And you're only doing it out of the love for your people. We understand it because you want them to wake up to what's going on, but unfortunately, you've seen The Matrix, man. There's a lot more people who are going to be plugged in than those who can pull that gimmick out of the back of their head and wake up into a world that's 1984, Animal Farm, Brave New World. I just watched Fahrenheit 451. Very good. I suggest everyone watch that. The HBO just put out. Very 1984-esque. They take a lot from that, too. But, any tips and tricks, you guys? I think patience is essential. Instead of, trying to shake people, they're going to have the fucking adverse effects. Yeah, right? So, go ahead, anybody.
Well, first things first, you started off with chemtrails. That's a no-no.
Yeah.
If you've listened to the show from the get-go, you would see that Ben and everyone else said you should start with something a lot less dramatic, like the Mandela effect, because then they can relate to what has changed. So that was your first error. Second error is trying to claim you getting angry at Sal for saying the word ginger, because ginger is not a race. Ginger is just the color of your hair being red, and we all know that gingers don't have any souls, so it don't matter.
Actually, Scotland, what did Scotland say? He called it, it's just a pelt color. So, yeah, no offense. Listen, Rob Russo, I love
Ginger
truckers.
Ninja. That's his name.
Ginger Ninja. He's, I love truck drivers, man. They're good people.
Yep.
Salt of the earth.
Yeah, we appreciate it. I mean, think of all the things. I mean, nobody appreciates him more than Stevie does, because he wouldn't be getting any of his free shit if it wasn't being trucked around all over the nation.
That's right.
and
We're
being
not quite
delivered.
at the drone era yet, so I have to count on the truck. My dad was a truck driver for 27 years. It's not an easy job.
No.
And I get laid off a lot. There's a lot of long hours. They didn't have the rights probably that they have now. It's still rough, but my dad it was like the Wild Wild West when he was doing it. I would say this in comparison, if you do feel bad about feeling isolated, just imagine being in a locker room full of wrestlers where you're not even allowed to go off the toed line for any reason, and you're trying to bring this shit up.
Yeah.
And
we
were isolated up until less than a year ago.
Pretty much, man. Yeah, I mean, I was able to get some of that shit in on WrestleZone, but I had to, keep it to one or two things. Where now it's, wide open, and we're super thankful for it. And we're really, the fact that you said, I think the biggest thing to me is you feel like that somebody out there is like-minded, and there definitely are. And it's hard to find that, that community, because there's so many people on YouTube and whatnot where they can take it super religious, and you kind of got to, for Sal and I, you kind of got to pick and choose which way to go through their stuff, but their minds are kind of there. And then there's other people who are way off the deep end, Alex Jones, just Kool-Aid drinkers, where we're trying to look at things how we do through wrestling. But we'll always be here to try and look at it with a, level head to some degree.
One quick example. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, one quick. I've been binge watching Jordan Peterson stuff, and just the way people react to him, and he's very, very logical about what he tells you, and he has a degree in clinical psychology, so he has a lot of experience and puts a lot of data out there, and people attack him because it's just something they don't want to hear. So you can watch how Jordan Peterson reacts to these people, and that's probably a litmus test for how you want to copy your behavior when people act so, like emotionally to something you're trying to get across logically.
That's a good point.
Jordan Peterson, the guy from the debate that you sent in the chat group?
Oh yeah, isn't it brutal?
Okay.
Where the guy kept saying stuff to him that was so racist, and then he was just coming back with logic, and he pointed it out, and all of a sudden it wasn't that. And also, there's a famous interview, I think her name's Kathy something. So he would answer the question logically. It was like talking to Bubba, Sal. So like when you answer a question, he goes, "So what you're trying to say is," I used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
She literally, for every answer and everything that he said, she said, "Oh, okay. So what you're trying to say is," and he goes, "No, I'm trying to say what I just said."
Yeah.
And then he gives her the data, and this is much like conspiracies. Give them the data and all this stuff and the timelines, and she goes, "I don't care about the data. I just want to know what you think." Like what in the, and he's the one that's the aggressor, and she's the one that's the victim somehow in the mind of the mainstream media.
Yeah, it's like when you talk to Bible thumpers, and they keep saying, "Well, the scripture said." I don't want to know what the scripture says. I want to know your opinion. That's different, because all you're doing is reading back a book. But when you're asking for data and facts and figures, and someone gives them to you, you can't say, "No, I don't want the data. I want to know what you think." Well, I'm basing what I think on those facts and figures, not just reciting the facts and figures.
How dare you use facts to back up your argument?
Yeah.
Uncalled for.
Yeah. But shout out to you, man. And if you need backup, or you just have questions and you feel like you're alone out there, know that you're not, dude. That's exactly what we're here trying to do, and make it normalized. Go ahead, Pop.
For a booking fee, the four of us, and you got to cover hotels and trans and flight. We'll come to your house and sit down with your family and try to enlighten them and awaken them for you if need be.
Yeah. And then you'll see how impressive Sal really can be. So this one is from Aunt Daniel, which I love. Hey guys, it's AD again. There was that was a great Infinite Fringe episode recently with Fetzer. I agree. I thought Billy Ray killed it. BWO. I looked up the name of the sheriff. So I don't know if that's by the way something. I looked up the name of the sheriff, Sheriff Scott Israel, and I found an article in the Times of Israel. All this is allegedly, bros. I found informationliberation.com, yada yada. Allegedly that happened. I'll have to take a look at that to understand what you're saying. Something else is going on, guys. Is it coincidental when you really don't have to look for Waldo anymore? Just look slightly to the left. Ben and Fetzer brought up Gaza. Fetzer said those kids were ignorant. Really? Really? I had to channel the Miz for that one, bros. Those kids were coached like MJ, and they're going for the minimum 8-peat, allegedly. I don't know if Ole Damagard would attach these strange occurrences to his theories, but there's no way you can have all these coincidences. No such thing as them, right, bro? I'm going to say that all the misdirection plays, plots, and schemes go back to the conspiracy in Psalm 2. That's just me, though. Somebody look up Psalm 2 real quick. On the Daniel Glover Childish Gambino, this is America video. It's not supposed to be Public Enemy or Rage Against the Machine. The rap part is the mumble rap style, which is in nowadays. Fuck that is what I say. If you look at the video as opposed to just listening to the song, you see Glover is doing a caricature of dancing, smiling, and performing black man. The killings aren't done for shock value. You have to look at how they're being done. The killings happen. Then the weapon is handled and Donald moves to the next spot. He leaves the video for interpretation. I'm sure there's many things I didn't catch only watching in a few times. There's a lot going on in the background. If somebody said that is brilliant or whatever, it was probably because he didn't say fuck you and John Wayne 9/11. You know what I mean. Also, it doesn't surprise me that Alex Jones doesn't get it. He has a job to do. YouTube link. I couldn't find the whole video, but here's Jones' reaction. Party on, Garth. Yeah, man, I get what you're saying, but you're not looking at the bigger picture. This motherfucker had 50 million views overnight, that he rolled with the Saturday Night Live crew and 30 Rock crew, and that they've been weaponizing their comedy and pushing that agenda, that he comes out with Childish Gambino as a fucking rap name instead of just being what he was, which is a political comedian. And then when it comes to the killings and whatnot, it doesn't matter. I don't care about mumble rap, man. If you really want to make a statement, words are power. Imagery can be too, but to leave it open for interpretation, it's just like, let me open a pull the pin on a grenade, open the door in a room, and just chuck it in there and see what happens real quick. A room full of people. It's not really gonna do what, a target of what you're trying to hit there. It's just gonna go all over the place and just leave people confused talking and not really getting the message over. So maybe it is to start the conversation. I can understand that, but it's been going on. I think it was lazy work, and it was all part of a greater psyop. We've seen this guy on the fucking red carpet with his Eye of Horus Illuminati jacket and shit on. So to me, he's bought, sold, and paid for. He's not a real MC. He obviously hasn't had to struggle if he came up under Daryl Hammond and Tina Fey. So he's not living that real hip-hop life shit. And I think it's easily a deep state Operation Mockingbird psyop.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you really feel, Ben? No. I personally, honestly, if you really want to see Danny Glover, right? That's his name?
Yep.
Right? Put out some fantastic work. Go see the movie Solo, because he killed it as Lando.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, he got his Childish Gambino name from a simulator. It was what's your Wu-Tang name? And when he I swear to God,
I know.
Story, and he put it in, and he came out with Childish Gambino, and that's why he dropped stuff under that name. Obviously, being a Wu mark, just like a lot of people are. Wu-Tang Clan is a rap group, Stevie, just for your information.
No, I thought they're a financial firm.
They are
too. Wu-Tang Financial.
Wu-Tang Financial. Diversify your bonds.
Where do you think I sold those mortgages at? Regardless of the fact, the song sucks because mumble rap is horrible. Artistically, the video is great. I liked it. I understood what he was trying to do. He was shucking and jiving for the masses. And in the background, that's where everything happened. And, it is what it is. It's open for interpretation. But Ben has a very solid point. You make a better argument and a stronger case with words than you do with imagery. So if he really wants to make a statement, he should actually put out a song with words to coincide with his artistic, video display or whatever the case may be.
And we call him Danny Glover. It's Donald Glover. Danny Glover is
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's getting too old for this.
Are they related? Is that his dad?
I don't know if they are or not.
Was it Corey Glover from Living Color?
Yeah.
Sabian Glover, the tap dancer.
Yeah, from Bringing the Noise.
Right, and then
Damn it.
old retirement Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's Donald Glover.
So, but yeah, man, appreciate your 2 cents on here. It is open to interpretation. It's art. I've just seen a lot of my improv friends and all those people I named are pretty much IO Second City people. I've seen them weaponize their comedy and go into a complete shell of this insane bubble. But he put his art out there. Go ahead.
Who's that other group that they're doing in New York? The Vultures. They're all they're doing a festival, and it's like Tracy Morgan that was thrown into the mix, but it was like Samantha Bee and all those people. They're called the Vultures now.
Really? I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, well, it's like now they're doing this little comedy festival around little circuits around New York, and it's that weaponized comedy, where it's like now they strike in these little spots, and they do these little clubs, but they're big names doing these, and
I'm sure they'll be at Upright Citizens Brigade soon enough.
wow.
Yeah.
Those used to be my guys.
They were cool, man. UCB were awesome, and they have their theater's great there. They're doing awesome things for improv in New York, taking that Chicago style. I mean,
I got to rehearse with them a couple times for a movie. I got to do it, actually go on the stage with those guys, Matt Walsh and Ian Roberts and his wife, and Amy Poehler. It was awesome. It was an amazing experience, and then it was different. Like after they split, it was done.
Hey, was the movie as good as Wrestlers vs. Zombies?
Only a little bit.
I watched that, by the way.
Which, Wrestlers vs. Zombies?
I did watch Wrestlers vs. Zombies, and I have to say, I think we talked about it at the end of one of the episodes, right, Ben? Didn't we talk about the end of the locker room?
Yeah.
I just feel like I just like to say this, and I'm going to see him on Saturday, which I hope you stop by, Sal. I can never just say it enough when I see him, but the acting range of Shane Douglas in this movie is just fucking incredible. It really is. To say that, like, you're gonna learn for the past 15 years the same shirt, and you're gonna act like the same character you played on TV for 20 years, dude. I gotta say, fucking Oscar, motherfucker, Oscar, gotta do it. And you know what? And to actually bring Roddy Piper down to his level, a very great actor from They Live.
Yeah.
It's quite an accomplishment.
And hell comes to Frogtown, dude. Like, seriously. Roddy Piper kills in those movies. Shane Douglas, I told Shane Douglas.
Shane Douglas killed Roddy Piper in that movie.
I didn't really want to say that, but, I think Shane Douglas put the tumor in Piper's head with that acting.
No, stop. No, please. No.
All right,
See,
on to the next one.
They're going to get an email about that.
That's edit. But we're doing our improv edits.
Listen, not since Blue Meanie's Swamp Zombies has there been a better wrestling zombie movie with Dan the Beast Severin and Meanie. If you guys get a chance, definitely check that out, and then butt that up against Wrestlers versus Zombie.
Well, you never know. We might be received with like the Hunt for Alien Gold movie or something.
Yeah, it could be 7 Cities.
I dig that movie.
And we'll get everybody from ASCAT and UCB in it as well.
See how much Shane Douglas charges. Let's just see.
All right.
Seriously, just go.
It's all right. More. This one's from our buddy Jerome Good. Says, more than just a world star. Armed citizen shoots and kills man who opened fire inside of an Oklahoma restaurant. Hey, fellas. Since I got called out for never having anything to say other than the videos, I thought I'd break a trend and say a few things. Been listening since the beginning and loving every minute. The expansion of the brand has been a pleasure to see and hear. Conspiracy Horsemen has led the way. Thank you. And it's the way you guys discuss the topics that appeals to me most. Several of my friends are now avid listeners after exposing them to the show. Awesome, man. Appreciate that. Myself, I have been a wrestling mark ever since my dad woke me up as a child to have me watch a Saturday morning wrestling with him. But he also never been one to never believe what I'm sold. Okay. Sorry, that was a tough one. I believe the more something is sold, the more of a work it is. That's pretty true in relation to everyday life. Thank you guys for what you're doing. Keep up the fight and putting out the truth. One question, though. Are the Conspiracy Horsemen still tag team champions? Because I heard somewhere belts are for guys who can't get over with character. Jerome Good, World Star Researcher. Well, thank you for the personal fuck you on that one, because that's Rip Rogers 101. Belts are for guys who can't get over with character, and then I'm the fucking big character guy, and they put the title on me. So there's exception to the rules, and put it on GGP too, and all of us actually. We're all for the tag team champions.
That's why we get 99% of the gate, and we get the only reactions, and the best reactions, and the loudest reactions at Dynasty, because we're the draw.
Yeah, wait till you see what I'm doing this next show. There'll be some reaction for sure. I'll tell you off camera. This, when it comes to guys with the straps who have character, that's just smart booking at the end of the day, I guess, is what you could chalk it up to. But when Rip says that, is why do you put the strap on a guy like Goldberg? Because you can't really get over with character in a promo, so you put the title on him to make him believable. And he was. And then you just have him go out there and do a 30-second match. He looks like a fucking powerhouse, and you protect him because he's rotten in the ring as well. So, that's the magic of it. Obviously Hogan had plenty of character and held the strap for long enough. But the belts right now, I'm actually looking forward to seeing them, because I think they're getting redone right now. They're getting re-leathered and all that kind of stuff. So I look forward to having them back. And we'll never give them up, because there's nobody in wrestling big enough to take them from us. So, anybody got anything to add about World Star? Adam. You know, he put the video armed citizen shoots and kills a man who opened fire inside of an Oklahoma restaurant. Concealed carry, man. I'm about it. I'm for it with gun owners who aren't just gonna be like Stevie on Far Cry 5 and wailing people down in the streets.
Fuck me.
But that's I hate to use the cliche, a good guy with a gun versus some psychopath. If that's the way it's got to go down, that's the way it goes down, man. So
it was self-defense.
I saw her. She was in her bedroom. The last lady you blew away with a shotgun. Were they having sex, like her and her husband? You walked in the room and blew him away, and then she was like begging for mercy.
He blew him, all right.
No, what are you talking about? The video I sent today was the lady was giving orders, and I said, nobody gives me orders, and I shot her.
Such a mental patient.
Prison yard rules, man. I'm the new leader. I revived her afterwards.
Yeah, and you picked her up and gave her a fucking grenade, and we're like, here you go, no hard feelings.
She was a grenade. She wasn't looking too good. From Dan Fitzgerald, hi Horsemen. Great talk about the lack of sleep and the impact it has on the body, mind, cancer, fighting cells,
Except
etc.
for one person.
Yeah.
I hate to cut you. One person excels.
He sends a YouTube link, and it's Joe Rogan Experience talking about the lack of sleep and the impact it has. So is what he's talking about. Not that we talked about it. He gets into some of the more interesting stuff at the end, really relate to what you guys talk about and how the system keeps us tired enough not to look into anything or be motivated to do anything. Keep up the good work. These podcasts get me through the work every day. Appreciate you, Danny Fitzgerald. Man. You got to get your rest unless you're Triple H. I guess you only need 1 hour of rest a night to be super jacked and have no adverse effects unless you have a really good doctor and prescriptions.
Don't talk ill about Uncle Paul.
I'm not. I'm saying he's a man better than all of us.
Yeah, especially Stevie, because Stevie gets his whole 8 hours
17 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
I don't get 8 hours, but I will say Tuesday night, we went till after 1 a.m.
Yeah, dude, 1:15 last night.
You know what? I was shocked because I woke up and I was just kind of looking around and I posted something about Fire Pro and Stevie liked it and I went, "The fuck are you doing up at 1:30 in the morning?"
Cardio.
Yeah, right.
No. I wasn't doing that.
Yeah, I passed out hard after late night Russo last night, man. But sure, you need your rest, obviously, so you don't get worn down. But what you said about, them keeping us a certain way, I don't care if you work 8, 10, 12-hour days. People fuck around online enough at work. There's always time to expand your mind, expand to whatever you want to do. I'm not just talking conspiracy and awakening. 10,000-hour rule. If you want to learn how to play an instrument, if you want to learn a different language, any of that kind of stuff, it's just about saying, I'm going to better myself. I'm going to take this time, my time, it's my time, and go ahead and turn around and use that to expand your mind. So it's just about the dedication to self and self-improvement. And even if you have less hours in the day, you'll find a way to get it in. And once it becomes part of your schedule, that's just how things are going to be. Big Sal, you popped on my time or no?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Stevie, anything you want to add? You're the one who's up at 3, 4 in the morning getting your cardio shit in, bro.
Well, I would say that you need to really break down what your day is. You need to be very organized. You need to have a schedule, and that breaks up, and you can concentrate on what you need to do. Because when you think about it, I really hardly ever watch TV. I watch like some on-demand stuff of some shows I really like, but really all day long, YouTube videos are playing in the background, podcasts are playing in the background of stuff that will, what we say on the Russo show, further business. The stuff that will try to further my steps. Crow 777 has an interesting take too, that we need to go back to old school and actually go to libraries and read books from like pre-1950 before it really got interpreted. I'm using air quotes.
Before programming happened, like programming of television, literally programming.
Yeah, I even started to look up, and I was at the library a week or two ago looking at the Farmer's Almanac about when to plant this, when to do that. And it was pretty interesting how a lot of natural stuff just comes from, it's silly stories and stuff, but there's a lot of good information in that. So if this kid is sitting somewhere at work or has downtime, grab a book from the library and read that. If you're not allowed to watch YouTube videos or whatever.
A library is a book place where you can go in, and if you tell them where you live, you give them a card. They'll let you take one of those books home if you return it.
But you have to rewind it first.
Oh, yeah, rewind the book.
That's something else. That's something else.
Oh, yeah. Right from the chat room, some people say that they feel the MK Ultra is an all-time minimal for Stevie since he's put up the green screen. He has an MK Ultra out in a minute here. And
Sal's at an all-time high. I'm taking screenshots of him.
Yeah, you know, because I'm paying attention to what you fuckers are saying. Captain MK Ultra, fucking wide-eyed saucers every weekend. Every time we start talking.
Well, dude, I'm gonna. You know, when I get this, I actually just got it. The Halo the neuroscience sport that'll stop me from stuttering like I just did. That'll help me with everything. It's supposed to actually treat a lot of different cognitive things as you get older. It's supposed to improve skills and athletic performance and stuff. And I want to do an experiment, and they're going to send it out to me. So we got an invite. Just a side note, we got an invite from them. If the CEO wants to come on and get interviewed about the device and everything. So if we can fit that into some content, that'll be cool.
For sure, we'll do definitely with everything that's going on where they can now read your thoughts. Did you guys see that piece where it's like the dude had it on his jaw and it was up to 90% where he was just thinking things and his phone was reacting along that? Pretty crazy.
Now imagine if I can hear your thoughts with one of those things. Workers could wear it in the ring and call spots without actually talking.
Here,
if they wore luchador masks.
See if you can interpret this one real quick. Ready?
Yeah, that's on the level of 0 point energy. They're thinking about if they can light up the arena for a wrestling match. We have 0 point energy.
What am I thinking right now, Papa Don? What's going through my mind?
But you go further back than that. Conspiracy theory. It's still up on YouTube, where Jesse Ventura, the guy, has that makeshift device, and Jesse can hear the music inside his head.
Yep.
Pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, that was the
same
early
technology,
steps.
I would think.
Sure. Yeah, and how about this? While we're on that, I think we shared the story in the chat where I think it was Caltech students programmed the Alexa where they were just like putting on whatever song, Childish Gambino, This Is America. But in the higher frequencies, they were embedding messages in there that the human ear couldn't hear at all, and it was triggering the Alexa. So let's say you've got your Alexa to do auto pay on your Amazon. It can bring up, buy this, put it in your shopping cart, do whatever, and bring up this web page along those lines. So definite subliminal messaging through that right now. And that's, dude, if they got that already, how many corporations are going to jump on that in the next year?
What about the and this is actually years and years ago, there was the Jedi mind game where you put the little ring on your head
it's
and you
like
raise the bullshit back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all okay because it was a Star Wars thing, so people just grabbed it.
Star Wars, B. It's over.
Exactly.
If it was a Star Trek game, it'd be in the shit bin.
No.
Right? Why? There's
Nobody would have bought that shit. Nobody would have bought it. Chris Collier says, first of all, keep up the good work. Okay, we will. I thought the only place was people like Alex Jones who open people's eyes, but in my opinion, you guys are hundreds times better. Also, please, can you keep my name anonymous? Too late. You might want to open with that. Now for the good stuff. Tommy Robinson from the UK has been sent to jail for reporting child sex gangs in Huddersfield. There's a link in their basic information because of reporting restriction. If that isn't fucked up enough, I saw these videos about it. Tommy Robinson being arrested. YouTube link. I'd love to hear your opinion on this. All the best and keep up the good works. Thanks again.
I was so shocked by that because I used to love him on Living Color when he used to do Sammy Davis Jr. He was like one of the funniest guys on there.
Yeah.
And now he's kid reporting kid touchers and shit. It was weird.
I kind of not love the fact this guy's got arrested and First Amendment rights are gone, but doesn't that look what happened over the weekend? People coming out in droves. It felt like V for Vendetta to me when they all come out of their house and enough is enough. I want it. They're going by all these palaces and where all these upper level people live. I wanted them to start shaking those fences and taking down all of those fucking gates and shit. It didn't get to that point, but that's my dream that it will. So the fact that we have one guy who's a pretty prominent leader, even though he's a pretty far right activist, and they try and paint him with the Nazi stuff and whatnot, so I don't want to get in and back him too much and sing his praises. But the fact that everyone should have a voice. And what did they stop his voice on? The fact that he's trying to expose child trafficking, and they fucking surround him with 7 cops and then give him 13 months and no like appeal or anything like that. That speaks volumes. Like, that action is more than any words could really say to show that this shit goes pretty high and they're trying to keep it under wraps, which is exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight with the Franklin scandal, which did get swept under the carpet. And now 30 years later, we're at a different level with all this shit. So maybe him being a martyr, political prisoner for this right now will drive people to be more incensed and demand that all this shit gets exposed and those who are involved fucking hang from the streetlights at night.
I'm pretty sure the reason why he got pinched was because if you dig deep enough, this will go straight to the royal family. Mm-hmm. I mean, their best friend was, what was his name? Jimmy Savile or Savile?
Jimmy Savile, yeah.
Yeah, and he, I mean, after he passed, it got released that he had numerous amounts of touching little kids and, you know, being a pedophile. And he was, what's the Prince Charles, right? That's Elizabeth's son's name, right?
Right.
Diana's husband.
Yeah.
His best friend.
Yeah.
So
sorry, I got to interrupt here. Jay the Game in the chat room says Tommy Robinson committed a crime. He filmed people who were on trial who had not been proven guilty yet. Brother, big fucking deal. If you're on trial, there's plenty of fucking proof already that they're about to lay down that way. They're not just going to drag people in and start going, you're child traffickers. And if this guy's trying to perpetuate that and put that out further to wake people the fuck up to what's going on, then crime away as far as I'm concerned.
Wait a minute. So they don't cover it on the news, but in the newspapers?
Of course not, dude. All that shit is going to be fucking kayfabed.
No, I'm saying the people who are on trial, isn't that trial in the papers already?
Right.
It's
So
public knowledge.
If you care to look,
yeah,
they don't expose it like they do everything else.
Yeah, it might be page 6 or whatever, right? And not the,
doesn't matter.
the
Page
biggest
6,
story.
Page AB3 don't matter. So if he took a picture, that's ridiculous. You don't get 13 months for a picture. Come on, man.
You want to hear about overinflated sentences? We'll get to that.
I know.
Fucking horseshit.
Yep. But that's what we're talking about here, man, is these fucking kid touchers, snuff films, psychopath, molesters, pedophile pieces of shit are protected from on high, because once you start that domino effect going, it's, you think I'm going down? I'm going to stooge on the next guy. And in America, that shit goes to the Bush, Reagan regime all the way to the fucking top. So film them, make them feel like shit, corner Podesta on the street, ask them the Luke Radowski hard questions. You know, were you fucking Gimmick Jones's father? What's his name from
Pennington.
Yeah, Chester Bennington's father and shit. Like, get those responses. Don't let these people stay in these positions of power. They're nobody. They're just workers. They're political workers. You can easily expose them and make them look like shit in one YouTube video. That's who we should be going after, left, right, and center every single day. That's how change is going to happen.
Podesta legitimately has to just stay in Washington, D.C., because that's the only place I can see where he will not be shunned.
Probably because he's got enough dirt on everybody else. And people keep saying...
I'm just saying because they're all... It seems like the concentration for what we're going to talk about still goes back to Washington, D.C.,
sure,
and then extends overseas to the royal family.
And people keep asking me about... what the fuck is his name? Sorry, I botched the spot right here. I can't remember.
Gary Newman.
Paul Heyman.
No. They asked me about Paul Heyman. I say he's doing good. I wish he'd get on Stevie Richards Fitness. I'm going to keep going. So this was a
Good
forward.
Segue.
Thank you. This was a forward somebody sent to my Hacker Hameen email, so I just sent it over here. It said, Trump, HRC roast follow-up. Good morning. Love the work you guys are doing on Russo shows. You and Stevie are highly entertaining. Thank you. I would say...
Sorry, Sal, you and I are a B team.
Actually, B team's over on Raw. I would say I think your timeline is off in regard to the Donald Trump and HRC and the roast. I believe I know what roast you're talking about, and it occurred before Election Day, not after. I believe you're thinking of the Al Smith dinner on October 20th, 2016. The dinner was seen by many as a direct rematch of their 19th October presidential debate. If you have never watched it before in full, it's worth watching. President Trump, he starts out as a fun-loving babyface and then absolutely torches her. He makes all the allusions to human trafficking, conspiracy, and general evil. Also, be prepared to do some conspiracy horseman work on the immediate post-election period where, yes, Donald Trump did say, yes, they're very nice people, and refer in reference to the Clintons. I'm convinced that he knew right then where this would all lead, and I think there's better than a 75% chance that HRC will face some hefty charges. Anyhow, I'm up in Fort Drum area, not too far from your stomping grounds. The warm weather is very welcome. Enjoy your day and keep up the great work. Thank you, brother. I just was up there in Watertown working for Big Time Wrestling. We had a great show, huge house there. It was a good time to be back in Watertown. I hadn't been up there in a while since 2CW closed, so I was happy to get that shot and work the Patriot that night. It was a good time. I think you might be right, man. We might have jumped the gun, and I'm not saying we get everything right all the time. We just were maybe having a reaction to what he was saying, but obviously Donald Trump is clued in on that and knows from being on the upper level echelon of billionaire motherfuckers of what really goes on and who needs to get it. But we shared in our Horseman chat, I think actually Triple D shared it. I saw you liked it, Stevie, was on the 23rd of this month, there was like a 15-minute promo where they said they're finally going after Clintons for the emails, for everything illegal along those lines and how it relates to everything that was in there as well. So like we said before, it takes time with this shit and bureaucracy, unfortunately, instead of just being like, we got you, we know. And I'm hoping that it moves forward and this just isn't a work this time. And watch them step up the effort to have Trump impeached now that they know their fucking nipples are about to get squeezed.
You know what's funny about that is, like, I don't even think Fox News would be covering it like pretty much 24 hours a day if this was something that was really, if they were really tuned in for the opposition. It just seems like mainstream media on both sides, left and right, are not, because that's the only footage that I've seen of them announcing that they're really gonna go after him, which is just kind of like, okay, believe it when I see it,
right?
Right. But this should be huge news.
Yeah, it should be every day.
But Roseanne is the one everybody's talking about, not this.
Because she represents the right and the media is the left, and they found a target. First of all, she's stupid for opening her mouth. She should know better.
Well, you know what it was? She thought it was still the 90s when she can get away with that shit.
Yeah, she's singing the national anthem, grabbing her box and shit.
She thought she still had that kind of stroke. And they just went, bye-bye.
Adios.
Yeah. And that was it. Because she thought she could just swing her dick around, and she didn't realize that the political and social climate is completely different, and everybody needs, it was, what she said was really stupid. Yeah. You know what I mean? And honestly, it wasn't even funny. It didn't even pop me. Like if it popped me, I'd have been like,
there was no joke comedian setup in there. That was just some, and she said before she got back over again that she has multiple personality disorder, which every actor's a fucking nutbag. Yeah, and then trying to blame it on that.
They tweeted her back and said that's not racism is not a side effect of our medicine.
Well, it might be. It might be now. It might be. But
I think Wendy's has Ambien's Twitter account.
But if you want to talk fucking tit for tat on that, then why aren't they coming down on Bill Maher? Why aren't they coming down on Jimmy Kimmel? They've done plenty of monkey references and orangutans on fucking Trump and all that shit. So,
because he's on the left. But, because he's in the trenches fighting their war.
It's just the fact of this SJW bullshit, and they probably had enough of complaints right out of the gate on Roseanne. We talked about it last night on Russo. If you're a Realm Network subscriber, check it out. But this is the Enzo Amore shit where she might have had enough heat, and this is just the one thing where they knew they could get out easy instead of paying her fucking boku bucks.
Listen, as far as this HRC stuff is concerned, as much as I wish it goes down and she burns in hell, nothing's going to happen, man. Nothing's going to happen. QAnon's been dropping breadcrumbs forever. Nothing's happened. all this stuff has been going on. I mean, she literally was destroying evidence with a hammer. And it's been broadcasted both on the left and the right that she was destroying stuff and bleaching her emails. So she illegally did something.
Shit catches on fire. Yeah. Like
she brought
Hey, who cares? They were hacked. It doesn't matter if the stuff in the emails were true. Am I wrong? This is the official word of Donna Brazil, of Podesta, Hillary, all these people. Hey, we need to focus on the people that did this, that hacked the emails. Let's not worry about, that we were trying to fuck kids in a hot tub. The Russians are the bad guys. Isn't that really what they're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And some people were hitting me up about the restart your router because the Russians hackers are attacking us now and change your passwords. If you think that's even fucking remotely true, none of you guys do it. None of the cool kids at twitch.tv/conspiracy horsemen believe that. You guys can spot a psyop. That's why we all come together for this shit, because the Nancy Browns, Jim Smiths, who are 60 years old, are going to go, oh my God, Russians, we better, Nancy, get over there and restart the router, goddammit. Like, and change the password from password 1234 to 4321 password, because we'll outsmart those Russians, goddammit. This is all a psyop. They want to do that because they probably installed some new piece of code that is going to be able to pull everybody's shit because they want to get it all. And they like, well, we'll put this out through Operation Mockingbird through every local news channel, and then they'll do it. We'll get all this new information that way. So pieces of shit all the way around.
Correct.
You want to hear what I found out something this week that kind of took me back for a second. Remember the emails, how they explained the code words like pizza, hot dog, and all this?
Yeah.
And there was another code word that just popped up, ping pong.
Yeah.
And what ping pong means is a sexual position. It's basically a threesome.
It's an Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Well, I sent you guys that somebody had stooged off James Elephantis' new Instagram, or they're still whatever.
Wasn't it Jimmy Ping Pong?
Yeah, Jimmy Ping Pong, going back and forth, and he was showing like all these, while he was in Greece, all of these ancient plates and whatnot where they were ping ponging each other back and forth.
And what did he say?
It's open for
finally some real artwork.
Finally. Greeks invented ping pong. Not a lot of people know that.
Yeah, Greeks invented that sick shit.
You know what? We did.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you know what? We have one black mark on our record, and 99% of everything else that's good. So let's not focus on the bad here, okay? Stop deflecting.
All right. Well, tonight's focus is all about that. Star-Lord says, "Greetings, Horsemen. Hopefully, hopefully, Star-Lord, you didn't want me to use your real name here.
Star-Lord, you should have not messed up Thanos when they had him all captured."
Just wanted some advice on the best way to convince someone about chemtrails. Whenever I bring it up, their retort is some shit about condensation from this engine. My comeback is usually the condensation and vapor from water in your refrigeration is barely visible from the other side of the kitchen. So how could you see it 30,000 feet above or below, rather? Then the discussion turns nasty and they just don't want to talk anymore. My question is if you have any advice on how to proceed. And an even bigger picture, why do conspiracy theories have become such contentious topic of discussion like politics or religion? Thank you. Yeah, man, you can look up the shoot from the Steve Brennan, I believe his name, right? The head of O'Brennan of the CIA, where he talks about geoengineering and that they absolutely are doing this. So, and it's a C-SPAN 5-minute shoot. If that doesn't, convince them enough, a CIA head doing it. The crisscross trails that they're doing where there's no flight patterns. I live a mile from a closed Air Force base, and they keep doing this left and right. It's why are they gridding the skies? And condensation trails would dissipate. You'd see them come out of the plane, and there'd only be a certain tail, and they would dissipate into the air. Chemtrails stay in the sky all day and then dissipate into clouds, and you watch them have a silver gray haze where they're blocking out sunlight. So people know they're just having an adverse reaction because they don't want to believe that your tax dollars are going to kill you and poison you every which way but loose, and that's exactly what they're doing. Further, you can look into how long the pilots who actually fly those sorties are kept at a certain base. Sometimes it's as little as 3 months. Usually it's a 6-month thing, and they all have to sign off on the fact that they can't do it. So they're shipping people in and out so it can never become like, oh, yeah, I'm doing this, and then it gets stooged off. So they're trying to protect things that way. Stevie, what do you think?
Well, I think that they legitimately put somebody up there who is officially giving declassified information, and that still wasn't enough for people to say, wow, I believe that's a psyop too. We can just tell them straight up, we're doing this. Nobody's going to care.
Right.
That's why I think even if a UFO landed on the White House lawn, like we say, that will be the proof we need. The people, I'm too busy watching the Kardashians and Total Divas and all this other bullshit. I really think that there is nothing you can say to these people, because you get to a point where they're only going to not believe it, And the Joe Rogan thing, when he dismisses that chemtrails are real, hell, what authority does he have to even dismiss it if we have no authority to say they're real?
Right.
I don't know. And if something is in the sky, what's the movie that guy had, Frankenskies?
Yeah, Frankenskies. You can go back and check that Infinite Fringe episode out where we outline NASA's version, CIA version, and Air Force version of different geoengineering weather control.
Dude, if I go outside and I shoot a YouTube video of me working out, it gathers a suspicious crowd. Yet when you spray chemicals into the sky, we're fucked. The people are fucked up, completely fucked up. Yep. Nobody wants to ask questions. No one wants to be logical. This is straight across the board. And I really believe, and we talked about it before, that this spraying is, I think, making the things happen, making people come at each other, making people not think straight, be easily offended. There's, it's like the St. Louis experiment. What was that? What were they spraying again, or poisoning the people with?
Poisoning the water with a LSD type gimmick, right?
Okay, so that's
46,000 people.
That's been documented on mainstream media, on the local news. And people say, well, they don't do that then.
Here's one that Dan Frank, who is a great listener of ours, and I won't go into, not Anne Frank, but Dan Frank. That's right.
Papa Don takes a piss break every time I fucking talk. I'm going to point that out right now.
You mentioned working out, and he split.
Yeah, he's like, fuck that. He actually was like, man, $1 billion for WWE. Imagine if they took 55 million of that and went and fixed the fucking pipes in Flint, how that would be a huge thing for them. Like, what's that show where they used to rip down somebody's house and build the fucking new one? I can't remember.
The one with
Ty whatever gimmick, right? Yeah. They did that right next to my spot in Louisville. But they, like, if you went and did that with, here's Sasha Banks, fucking Titus O'Neil, and da-da-da-da, we're going to get this project done, and did a 4-part episode with that. But they're not. They're not doing any of that shit. We can do $1 billion deals for shitty wrestling shows, but take 55 million. Imagine the press WWE would get from that. So to me, that means that the whole Flint, Michigan thing is a poisoning that was planned. And will these people let us do it? And how long can it go on? What are we on? Year 4 now? Year 3?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Why didn't Michael Moore? Why didn't he take some of his fucking hard-earned money and stop ordering Papa John's and just dump it back into fucking Flint?
He's Mr. Flint. That could have just, the movie alone could have paid for the fucking job to get it done.
Piece of shit, too. Fuck that guy.
Y'all, all right, this one looks pretty good. This is from E. Weezy Man. Hello, Horsemen. Haze Man here, a.k.a. Long Windat, the evil strong style writer from NJPW. Going into HTML, open caret Landstorm, close caret. If I can be serious for a minute, close hashtag Landstorm, or close caret Landstorm. Last week, I was playing Heel Disco and repeated his "you need to apologize for bearing my good name" phrase that he used on you. Not meant offensively. It's just messing around and having a little fun with it. I'm a writer. I've been a writer I've been writing long shit my whole life, so I was, in fact, impressed you got through the whole essay. It's commendable that you did. I didn't expect it. Well, I got fucking blown up, brother, so that's just how it goes. But write what you want to write. It's a great exercise. I appreciate you guys going through the trouble of putting out this show each week for us, and also for taking the time to interact with us like this. Few people in your position do that. For sure, I support and enjoy interacting with you. Much respect. Thank you for all of this. Y'all. Stevie, Cool idea about the hangout thing. For me, it depends on the time zone difference, as I'm in Amsterdam. When I wrote German name guy last week, I meant Hans because Disco hardly remembers our names. Here's the thing with Disco, brother. We don't give a fuck. There, I'll just put that over that way. The Damagard interview was incredible. I've been thinking about how we would feel about MH17 crash. It's still a big subject in my country. The U.S. immediately blamed Russia. The Dutch narrative was we investigate first and then blame Russia. Australia blames Russia. The media name-dropped high-ranking Russian military officials. Oleg Ivanikov is a prime suspect now, but Russia denies involvement. All 298 civilians died, and that plane was shot down, of which 196 were Dutch and 38 Australians. Well, apologies, Dutch. Man. Like, well, he's from Amsterdam, man. That's pretty stiff. Scum. Wow.
No, you got it's Metalocalypse. No, everybody take it easy.
All right. I thought you were just going in. I don't know Metalocalypse.
No.
At the UN meeting in New York right now, they are discussing why two countries made Russia formally responsible. Are you familiar with the story? And if so, what are your opinions on the narrative? I was also wondering how you guys feel about the Black Mirror show. In each episode, they point out what happens when people take Internet of Things type technology too far. Most episodes leave you with a feeling, what the hell did I just watch? Yet all of it makes sense and sinks in. Russo put over the genius piece of writing too. It feels strongly like it has deeper meaning, like they're warning us. Pending 5G, what do you think is the show's blatant predictive programming, or is it something else? Hayes, man. Good email, bro. Thank you. Somebody else want to jump off instead of me shooting my mouth off first?
Black Mirror, I don't get into it, man. It's really that everybody's kind of into that dystopian, this is like the fucked up Twilight Zone. This is like the dark Twilight Zone. Man, it's all right. It's just.
I only saw one episode, which was the first episode, and I don't know about shagging a pig is internet technology, but if shagging a pig is internet technology, go ahead with it.
I kind of like that because that is straight out of the fucking UK Parliament, where it was the top dude, and he came out and said that in some secret society thing where they want to get the blackmail on, and he stuck his dick in a dead pig's mouth. So he just took it to the next level for TV.
Yeah. Well, I'll touch on what we talked about before, the Matrix, when you used that analogy, Ben.
Yeah.
The people, the Amazon Alexa in your head, where it can order, it can auto pay, it can do all this other things, it can have delivery, these things, the virtual reality world. It's almost like if you look at the Matrix and they strapped an Apple logo on where Neo had his little pod where he was released from,
yeah,
people would line up for it.
Yep.
I really do believe people are going to go, why do I need to use my hands? Why do I need to use my muscles when I can just be connected to the Internet of Things? I don't have to do anything. I can just live my life without walking or getting up or doing anything. Do you see what I mean? Like my fitness program is fucking doomed.
Did I don't know? I thought I sent it to you guys. In Disclosed TV, those pods that you sit in, it's basically cryo sleep to go to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
But how long before they use that to, just for that reason alone, to do this cryo sleep to, I'm gonna skip this, or maybe use it as a punishment and be like, you're sentenced to 50 years, sleep time.
Demolition Man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You're sentenced to 50 years cryo. Boom, out. Fuck off.
That's interesting, man. Especially as we move into transhumanism and immortality. Why not? That was David Cameron with the dick in the pig's mouth. When it comes to Black Mirror, I enjoy it, even though it is trendy to be on the, let's expose the deep state, let's fucking talk conspiracy theories. At least that's putting it out in front of the Nancy Browns. And maybe it's going to wake up 1, 2, 3 people. They're going to start doing research. They go down a rabbit hole. They find the conspiracy horsemen. That's how the tide changes slowly. You got to fucking beat the system from within. We're the outliers. We're the underground, and the underground's always going to be way more over. But if we can get that to the mainstream through Netflix, then fuck it. I'm down at the end of the day, just to teach them lessons. I really like that there's no continuity, that one episode is one episode, and then the next one is something completely different. No characters carrying over. I think that's, as a writer, that's a bold fucking choice. And no one's done that I can think of in a long time. So pretty good. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. This one's from Chris Frazier. Hey, Horsemen, I started listening to you guys through Russo's Brain a few months ago, and I really enjoyed hearing what you guys have every week. Until this podcast, I never really engaged much in conspiracy theories. Living in Sydney, Australia, we don't always hear all the media coverage in the U.S. Well, conspiracy theory of the week is that Australia doesn't exist, so maybe this is written by a bot. I knew that'd get him. Though I don't agree with everything that's been brought up on the show, it didn't really hit me how much my thinking has changed until a recent political scandal in Australia just this past week. A member of parliament stooged off the names of some Chinese businessmen involved in the bribery to both major political parties. Convenient that this is happening as the new foreign interferences law are being reviewed, as well as the same week another man committed suicide at our offshore refugee holding facilities. Never would have even thought to look into any of this before. Well, good for you, man, to recognize what you wouldn't have, and look how far you've come for doing it. Not sure if you dive into foreign politics too much, but this has got me thinking about China. As they always appear to fly under the radar in the mainstream media, are probably the nation with the biggest influence on the planet. What are your thoughts on China's influence on global politics, and have you done any shows on this in the past? Props to Stevie and Stevie Richards Fitness as well, which has been amazing in helping me get on track with my fitness in my middle of a tough time in my life. Yeah, it's awesome, bro. Also, it amazes me that every show GGP gets up and leaves multiple times per show. You'd think he'd have this You'd think he'd have this podcasting thing down by now. I guess the Greeks were the ones who invented unprofessional podcasting too. Regards, Chris Frazier. Hans is over huge, and P.S. Hans is over huge in Australia.
Let's hold up. Well, hold on a second. Hold your cup up.
Hold on, everybody.
Whatever your juice is, hold your juice up to the camera. Sal and I do not get up for the entire 2 hours. I just want to point that out.
Yeah. You guys are peeing in your little house over there. I'm in the office.
Greeks invented small bladders.
So, first things first. We know that was Hans writing the email under a fictitious name, because no one says Hans is over except Hans. Secondly, I'm in an office all day. I drink coffee and water all day. Deal with it. And thirdly, AB3. Okay? They always say, you got to go away so you can come back and they can want you some more. Otherwise, you get stale. So deal with it, kid.
This guy's more hot that he gets insulted, doesn't give a fuck about China politics.
You want to know China politics? China politics, you know what China is?
Yeah.
China was their golden goose egg that Soros put a lot of money behind, and unfortunately has not panned out the way it's supposed to pan out. That's what's going on with China. And unfortunately, China also owns all of our gold. And wants to
put this into perspective. Didn't they try to build a tower to the moon?
Did they really?
Well, the moon's only 300 miles away, so it doesn't.
Elevator, wasn't it?
Elevator, not a tower.
And you know who else did that? It's one of my favorite franchises, Rabid Rabbits. They tried to build junk up to the moon. So I put them. China is right there with Rabid Rabbits for me.
China owns all our gold, dude. So that's one bad thing against us because we have nothing to back our currency. They own all our gold, and they're looking to build some kind of currency alongside Russia to offset the U.S. dollar and the petrodollar and start buying gold with that currency.
You know where China owns us, dude? China owns us more than anything. Is this shit right here, bro?
Yep.
This is your fucking. You want to talk about being a heroin addict, coke addict? This is the biggest biggest addiction that there is right there. And if they wanted to cut off supply or triple the price tomorrow, they could fucking do it. And people are addicted to information and entertainment. And what's going on with their social media score stuff that will restrict you from being able to travel, put you in a class system. Again, you're right, GGP. A lot of the Soros stuff is getting tested there. How about the ghost cities that are there for when some Planet X natural disaster fucking happens so they can move everybody out of one region and have a place for them to fucking go? Like, there's a lot going on with China that we really should be more looking into instead of communism, this and that, like the easy fucking Nancy Brown get outs. There's a lot of shit going on there that's a trial place. So, it kind of worked there. Well, let's warp it and bring it to fucking America or UK or Australia and do that. One thing we didn't go in on the MH17 with that as well is, weren't there a bunch of Chinese scientists on those flights, those Malaysian flights that were patent holders for
satellite technology? Wasn't it?
Yeah. So I know we skipped that response from that email, but I'm glad we can come back to it because, sad that 189, even though Sale doesn't give a fuck, that Dutch people, passed away on that. But I think it's more about the targeting of who is the important ones on there and why would a plane crash like that happen. Was it Russians that took them out, or was it the fact of these people know too much and they're about to expose something and we can't allow that to happen? And who's really behind that? That seems like a deep state hit to me.
That's why I ask people before I get on a flight. I go, okay, is there anybody of importance getting on this flight? If I'm the most important guy on the plane, we're good. I know they're not going to take us out for me.
Didn't you say something, Ben, about there's a stat about how many of those planes that go down are actually from mechanical failure?
Eight out of 10, or two out of 10 are from actual mechanical failure. 8 out of 10 are hits on somebody.
So at least one of those planes, the Malaysian planes, had something to do with something.
Yeah. I mean, if you got 19 Chinese patent holders on a fucking plane on one thing, that's bad security to start with on whatever you're trying to do. But, AB3, the other part is like, who's really got a vendetta against those people and what were they patent holders of trying to release? They fucking pissed somebody off who goes way up the ladder, So they follow it that way, and we definitely should.
I would say here's where I speculate, not so much fun speculation, but if it's satellite patents, satellite technology, I mean, could this be something weaponized, like directed energy or anything like that? I'm just kind of piecing it together a little bit on the chalkboard.
We just had the big crash right on the day of the Santa Fe shooting, right in Puerto Rico,
Cuba, right?
Cuba, sorry.
Yeah.
Racist.
Out of nowhere. I was waiting for.
Yeah, Cuba out of nowhere. So, all right, from Baron Lecter, Fab4, Guten Tag. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. If you are, kindly disregard. The Fraulein was scrolling through the shows on Netflix this morning and stopped on a show called Wormwood. It's a 6-part drama about Project MKUltra, told from the point of view of the son of one of the scientists who committed suicide by jumping out of a hotel window in 1953. On a non-related note, what are the chances of the Horsemen will be showing up in Pensacon in Pensacola, Florida in 2019? Viel Respecta, the Berlin Fidel, Baron von Lecter at Baron von Lecter.
I thought he was going to ask, what are the odds that the fucking Horsemen are going to jump out of a window?
Slim to none on that, but we'd like to do these cons, man. We want to start doing more speaking tours and engagements. That's a big goal of ours. So if it's 2019, start demanding it now and send me the info. I'd be happy to apply for that. And, we'd love to do an hour and a half live show. That's where we want to take this kind of stuff. And hopefully by that time, after we find all the gold in New Mexico from Ancient Aliens, we will be able to go with History Channel behind us. So it should be a good time. I knew that fucking got him. Talk about a heater. Boy, Hameen came over and got everybody in one fucking face slap on that one. But
that was me, like I kicked the guy in the dick in Far Cry 5. That's good enough.
That was some fucking Three Stooges shit where I just came in, lined you all up, and came right down with one fucking slap. But yeah, man, we'd love to come down to Florida and do that spot. So if you got the hook up that way, send it to us. Project Wormwood, I watched it. I didn't care for some of the editing and the flashback and the weird movie scenes where he's all fucked up on LSD. And I thought the editing, this is just me as a producer, story could have been told better, but at least, again, they're putting something out there in the mainstream about MKUltra and putting it in front of Nancy Brown's. So when like our earlier writers have said about how do I wake people up to chemtrails? You're like, dude, here's something on MK Ultra. It's gonna take something like that for a Nancy Brown to believe it, because they're not gonna believe it from you.
Nancy Brown's not watching this. Nancy Brown's fucking kid who can't stand hearing her anymore is watching this, going, "This is awesome." Run to his room. He gets baked. He comes back out, watches Black Mirror for fucking 6 hours. And then he's like, "Ma, you got to check this out." And she's like, "Not now. That's crazy talk." And she doesn't watch any of that shit.
Right. But
Nancy Brown is not watching this shit.
Maybe 80% of Nancy Browns, but let's say maybe 20% are. Maybe they fucking thought it was one thing and it's not, right? And they just get into it. Or they hear water cooler talk. It's got to be, you're not going to be able to fucking go full queen on the chessboard coast to coast on this. You got to move like a pawn. You know what I mean? You got to move one space at a time. And unfortunately, that's how it is, because we'd love to have the big awakening, but every little step forward, instead of nobody even knowing what the fuck MK Ultra is, to have that in the conversation is a win for people like us, I think.
Yep. Absolutely, Ben.
Somebody taking a dick pic? What's going on?
Yeah,
right.
I got Brett Favre sent me some.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, Paige just sent me one too.
Wiener pic.
Listen, man, the fact that the History Channel put out a documentary on MK Ultra explaining the tests and the things that CIA was doing with LSD just goes to show you that how dumbed down the civilization is, because no, not our government. They'd never do that. Yeah, of course. They already it's on national TV right now. They're telling you they did it already. It's been done and they continue to do it. But it's okay. Our government has our best interests at heart for us. They're here for us, not for their own pockets, right? And Larry King is a good guy. Yeah. Not Larry King on the TV host.
I got something to tell you. It's
who wants to marry me next? All
so
right.
regardless of that factor, man, look, Nancy Brown's, whether they watch it or not, who's to know? But if it's on Netflix and they paid money for it, people are going to watch it. Maybe they think it's a porno, Wormwood. Who knows? But point being is, it is what it is. And people watch it, they watch it. And if they like it, they like it. Like Ben says, it could have been done better. But it does open up. All you need is a crack in the foundation. That's it. Just a little crack. Sooner or later, that little crack's going to have a major effect and the foundation will crumble. So, Ben, you're on point.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All right, quick
your
one.
mouth.
Yeah, thank you. I got a pretty mouth. Hi, Horseman from TK Moss. Hi, Horseman. What do you guys think of the President's Book of Secrets from TK Moss? I don't know much about it. Does anybody have interest? I mean,
I read it.
Have you?
There was a picture of his girlfriend on page 69.
President's Book of Secrets got to be pretty deep at this point, right? Of every false flag we've pulled, every coup d'etat we've pulled, fake moon landings, what we have in weaponry that is still kayfabe and classified. Who knows if we don't really have our own X-Men force and fucking Wolverine shit at this time, where the giants are, Darwinism, the
truth about dinosaurs.
Yeah, all that kind of shit, man. Like, I'd like to know. I think that's something we need to look in on. It seems like a fun topic. If you got any further links on that, on the President's Book of Secrets, what's the
National Treasure?
Nah, thank you. You were right on again. You were right thinking right what I was thinking. The National Treasure. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing that kind of touches on that. But now you're also talking, in my opinion, Freemason secrets. We're going back to George Washington, or the fact that there was 8 presidents before him. If you didn't know that, that's a fun way to wake your family up. Actually, somebody asked earlier, what's a good way to wake people the fuck up? You say, who's the first president? Oh, George Washington. Nope. There was 8 presidents before him. So that,
and Obama wasn't the first black president either.
No, and an easy way to break that kindergarten through 12th grade conditioning that we've all been susceptible to. So, Stevie, what do you got, man?
I have a question about that. Like, I've always been, shut the fuck up, popping on. Go piss.
Fuck you, Dick.
Go piss.
Yeah. Don't send funny pictures to them.
You don't ever. Oh, that. Okay. All right, I'm sorry. So they want to keep it secret. Now I want to keep something secret, and I don't want people to know. I don't pull out a pen and start writing down the secret that I don't want anybody to ever find out about. I don't put it in a book. I don't say, well, we did a false flag, so make sure you get that book of secrets because we want to write this shit down. I'm not saying that something like that there's secret documents that get declassified all the time, but it's almost like there's a either an arrogance or a psychosis where secretly they want to get caught because they seem to document everything that they do that they never want people. Do you see the core at that? Like you wouldn't, I can see for historical stuff from way back in the day, but I don't see like now, like Bush and all them saying like, yeah, we're going to document how we're going to just run this 9/11 deal and
right.
Fucking, you know, even the presidential daily briefing, I think from August 6th before 9/11 has a picture of bin Laden on it saying bin Laden. No, that was the Pentagon safety thing for Operation Vigilance or Vigilant Guard or whatever it was.
Yep.
But, you know, when they say in a daily briefing that people are determined to attack the Twin Towers buildings in New York City, I just don't understand why they even put that shit down and then go through with the operation that makes them look like they're
I don't know if they'd have that, but they definitely have all your Roswell shit, right? Everything of flyover, first contacts, you know, things that have been found in kayfabe away via the Smithsonian. All of these things would definitely be there. Maybe even lizard people underneath the ground. Who knows, man?
My thought is why I know why you document it with the system, but do you think they ever think, well, we're writing the stuff down? I mean, we're pretty much eventually going to get caught, or we eventually want everybody to know this stuff. So there might not be a completely evil, nefarious thing in terms of information if they're documenting it for some reason.
Yeah, that's some guilty conscience shit. I agree. But at the same time,
Go ahead.
Don't we always say that if 1% of the conspiracy is factual, then the other 99% has to be? So if they're dumb enough to document all these false flags and MK Ultras and Operation Northwoods and all this stuff that the CIA and the FBI have done, and the JFK files and all this stuff where they actually show Hitler lived, if they're dumb enough to document it, then they're dumb enough to write it down in the book of secrets.
yeah.
You know what I mean? If the documents didn't agree, then we can all say it's all folklore, it's all shenanigans, it's not true. But the documents are coming out. You know, the CIA documents and government documents are getting declassified all the time, and more stuff that people thought were theories and fictional actually end up being true. So with that being said, I mean, who knows? Maybe the Book of Secrets is true. Maybe it was just predictive programming to ease us in. You know, who knows?
Great point all the way around, man, of what they're trying to do. We got 4 emails left. We're at 7:45. I'm going to do one more, and then, you know, one is Han, so I know it's long as fuck. Star-Lord hits us up again, and Matthew Masajewski. We're going to save those for next week, you guys. I apologize. We got to get to what we're talking about tonight. This last one's from Greg Miron, a great supporter, a.k.a. Greg Moron, who hasn't written in a while, so I want to make sure I close with him. Those other 3 emails, thanks, guys. We're not going to forget about you. We'll definitely get them in, so... Greg Moron says, hello, Hacker Hameen's hardcore humble horseman of hope. Alliteration. Fuck the opening paragraph. Let's get the net neutrality work as hot as I can. So to get up to speed and the removal of net neutrality, the Senate approved a bill to restore it, and now it's in the House. Also, the FCC will have net neutrality up until June 11th. After listening to your podcast about this once more, after watching InfoWars, Lionel Nation, Anthony Brain Logan, and PJW, Paul Joseph Watson, about this mess, so many questions have come to mind. Here's the first one. Why are we supporting someone that was made in the Obama administration? Wouldn't the government controlling internet be counted as an act of socialism? Wouldn't the loss of net neutrality mean that companies throttle the net? It would lose customers to new companies that would fuck with you. Lastly, since net neutrality have existed for years, why do I keep seeing complaints of people's internet being throttled? Isn't it supposed to be the opposite? So to make the ending short, what are the thoughts of this fucking mess? And what do you think will happen in the next few weeks with this? Keep up the great work. Congrats on the consistent big numbers you're getting on Twitch. Appreciate that. We love everybody on Twitch, no doubt. Cheers from Greg Miron or Moron. Y'all. P.S. I apologize to all the SJWs for the fact that they could listen to Creed, since Wu-Tang or Tribe Called Quest will give them nightmares, and their parents didn't have the balls to whip them with a belt. Y'all. Yeah, the net neutrality thing's kind of already forgotten about, right? That was a strange kind of uprising out of nowhere where government seemed like they were actually doing something to repeal some bullshit. Maybe it's because they want to rewrite something before they redo that. Also, around me, Spectrum has become the new big cable company, taking over for Time Warner, which is just a rebranding, I guess. And I saw people this week going, holy fuck, my Spectrum bill just went up $50 for my cable. How do I do this online internet thing where I steal TV? So watch them jack internet prices. I think that's going to be the next big fucking thing, where your internet price is going to double. You might get way faster speeds, but why are you going to get that? Because they want to implement 5G. And that's going to be the Trojan horse to get it in, where you act like you look like you're getting something in return, but it's a way for them to slide that fucking technology in for the Internet of Things, which we covered, 2-3 shows ago? Yep. So, there's never going to be anything without one hand washing and shaking the other. Washing the other, I guess, is the cliche analogy. I haven't fucked it up.
I don't know. It's ping-ponging.
Yeah, I'm ping-ponging back and forth. So there's never going to be anything that, in my opinion, that the government's like, no, let's stop this and vote. Somebody's got a fucking stake in the game, and there's a bigger thing that they fucked up or left out, and they saw it as a good PR move. And now they're going to do something that's even more fucked up. And I really believe the 5G crew's behind it. Go ahead, anybody.
Well, it just goes to show you that people's attention is not what it used to be. 24-hour news cycle is now even too long. So now we're at 24-minute news cycle, if that. Like you said, here today, gone tomorrow. Like a fart in the wind, it's gone. Sal?
You succinctly wrapped that up with a dozen cliches. Then the classy fart in the wind comments. How am I supposed to follow that up?
Yeah, man. No, I think it's when they want to do something like that, it's business exposing bad of how they really are at this point. They can't be trusted. They fuck it up every time. And when they want to come out like, we got your back, we're the great government, like it's all to serve some other agenda for some corporation at this point.
What's the meaning of the word government too? People don't even understand that. I want to paraphrase it, but the meaning of that in Latin, Crow 777 covers it. It's basically control. Yeah. That's all it is, controlling people. Well, so even in the name of government, it's not meant to help you. It's meant to control you.
Can I call you Greenie from now on instead of Stevie? I think that would work. Stevie Richards with the new greens.
I'm doing this as a courtesy.
He should just wear a green shirt.
Just be a head.
And all he is arms and a head.
I can actually do that on the game stream because the PS4 has the chroma key built in.
Does it?
So I'm there, and if I wear a green, I do have a green shirt actually. I'll wear it, and I'll wear a green cap too. It'll make me look like I'm in Hannibal the movie.
That'd be excellent. And then you could project a cat behind you and have a cat coming right through your chest while you would be.
Why project? Just get a real one.
Just actually put the cat on him.
Yeah.
Just put some turkey on your chest. Odin can come right to you.
Odin is a big turkey cat. He's mad. He can't come out to see me. He was right here all along. I'm so tired right now. It's like, can we really talk about pedophiles?
Yeah, we have to, man. We can't just do a mailbag.
I mean, it's almost like these emails were set up by the government, so we didn't put all our energy into the Franklin group.
I just checked the Horseman chat as well. Some phenomenal pictures of Sal MK Ultra out tonight. I can't wait to post those on Twitter at @Ben_Hameen. And
and that's what I get for actually looking at the screen. Because when I'm looking here, I'm looking at my screen. I'm not staring at my camera like a nutcase. I'm actually listening to you guys, as opposed to Papa Don is going to sleep or MK Stevie.
I'm looking at the information too. That screen. I'm not. The camera is on my IMAX, so
I'm not sleeping.
Whatever.
I'm looking at my phone.
But please make fun of me for paying attention to you guys. I listen to you assholes talking.
Y'all, Sally, take it away, man. This is your night to quarterback, Sal. I want to pass it to you, man. Go for it. We're talking about the Franklin scandal. If you guys haven't heard of this, get ready to dive down.
All right. Yeah. Now, this has been mentioned a few times by us. We've done a few things that have kind of led into that. Most of it's just the government shit.
Oh fuck! Yeah, it got serious.
No, seriously, I was at work doing all this, like just looking this shit up, and you open up one thing. Now, Ben, I don't know how far you got in to doing the research.
Yeah, I did about 5 hours, man.
Right. So all of it, it's so expansive because it leaks into so much shit.
Yeah.
And you go into one thing, and then it starts going up another path into something else we've covered, like the Project Monarch, all that, the MK Ultra and mind control and all that shit. So that starts off all of this because John DeCamp, he used to be a senator. So now he started this off talking to a former CIA doctor, Bill Colby. And this was just, I got a lot of research. I know I'm going to kind of bounce around for a little bit, but if everybody gets a chance, you go onto YouTube and check out The Conspiracy of Silence. That is number one, and that's how this starts off. And this was supposed to be airing on the Discovery Channel. A congressman called in and said he was going to drop some restrictive legislature, and they immediately pulled it from the show. And they absolutely just pulled it from Discovery Channel. It was bought by an unknown person who then ordered everything, all copies of it be destroyed. One was sent to former Senator John DeCamp, and they said, you got to check this out. And it all ties back into Boys Town. So now anybody who had a dad who was into old movies or, is old enough to remember Boys Town, that was a big deal. Back, it was like the home of purity for wayward boys and shit like that. This all kind of leads up to there.
Can I time out real quick? Just as my own little personal fucked up thing is, and I didn't know, because when I hear that, it takes me to a different place, because I lived in Chicago in the gay neighborhood that was 2 blocks from Wrigley Field. In my theater there, it's easy fucking to get on the train, do what I need to do. And I was part of the straight affirmative action program there, that they called that Boys Town. I was wondering afterwards if that neighborhood got the name based on what that town was called at that time. That's just something that stuck out to me in Chicago when they start naming neighborhoods like Lincoln Park or whatever it is, but Boys Town is the gay hood there. I wonder if that spun out because of that.
It's just another entendre sort of deal.
Right. Go ahead. Sorry.
But no, not at all. But because, and again, they have been the ones who have kept the most quiet. All the guys, the priests there, all kept quiet. Nobody commented on this. They will not comment on it. However, John DeCamp got a Monsignor to kind of back up a lot of his things. I'll get into that later if we get a chance. I'll go into that. But This started off, Bill Colby, who was a former CIA doctor. They were talking, him and DeCamp were talking about mind control. And the truth of the matter is there's no such thing. There was no CIA operative named Operation Monarch. Operation Monarch was a name given to the people who were involved in it so they could identify themselves. amongst other people who were in it. There was no Operation Monarch. It's not on the books as anything. So they started talking about it, and they were talking about, Vietnam, and they started talking about these different things. And he asked Colby, he said, hey, look, do we mind control these people? And Colby said, listen, you have no fucking idea what we do. And this was a CIA doctor, and these guys were friends, and that's how this kind of started out. So DeCamp started looking into all this, and he has unearthed so much evidence. And he has been, and as you know, you did some research, everything you looked up had his name attached to it.
Absolutely.
Because he's been the guy. He still lives in Nebraska. Well, he's dead now, but he's never left Nebraska. He was there. That was his town. That dude stood up for that. This was his fight to fight. And I feel like he's never, although he got a couple wins under his belt, he just never got that full justice of seeing these people go down like they should have.
Right.
So we'll start out with a couple of key names. One of which will be Paul Benaki, and the other one was Alicia Owens, who we discussed earlier, like a really heavy penalty for something that, Alicia Owens was 21, and she got hit with 8 counts of perjury because they said she backed someone up, and then someone else backed her up saying, I saw her with this government official, and she was an underage girl, and they said she was lying, and she got 27 years for it, for 8 counts of perjury.
Unbelievable.
You know what I mean? And it's like, later on, we will go fast forward. We'll get into Lawrence King, the head of the Franklin Credit Union, a credit union created in Nebraska for minorities to get loans, a $2 million credit union. That's what this was. And this guy got hit with 40 counts of embezzlement, and he didn't get, he didn't get 27 years off the bat. You know what I mean? So this all just turns into a giant spider web that is so fucking scary, because this gets everywhere. And like Stevie had said earlier, and you had said earlier, this creeps its way up into Reagan Bush territory, back in the day, into the White House. There were guys running midnight tours for 15-year-old boys. Actually, the guy, let's see, Craig Spence, who turned up suicided in a room. He was running White House tours for 15-year-old boys who he would tell the guards. And these guards have been caught, have been affidavit, and they've signed out. This guy showed up, and he's like, oh, this is my son. And he took him on White House tours. So now the deal is these kids were, all this credit union, all this money was getting cycled through there. This was a bigwig. This was for bigwigs in the government. And again, I want to start with the key players. And I know I'm all over the place because this just was fucking crazy.
No, it's crazy. I mean, the big thing that we started with is you said Larry King, and everyone's going to think the old white guy.
Yeah, not the old crusty frog-looking dude.
No, this is
it might be.
Yeah, it could be. It could be too.
Well, actually, this is Lawrence King, who is he's an African-American gentleman from Nebraska who ran this. He was the head. And now here's the funny part. He used to be a Democrat. And when he checked the temperature of the political area, he said, becoming a Republican will get me farther. And this guy started getting named as an up-and-comer. This guy became the fastest rising Republican in the Nebraska government.
Yeah, he was also from what I remember seeing and researching, he was the head of the Black Republicans at the time.
Yep.
And he sung at both inaugurations for Reagan and I think Bush.
So when you're talking about these midnight boy tours of people, these are anywhere from 8, 12, 15-year-old boys being taken late night, midnight to the White House, seeing rooms that no one has ever seen before. And to do what? During the Reagan and Bush administration and also Bush II administration.
Now, I would also, this is the part, like looking this stuff up, again, you get taken off in so many different directions. And I got run off the road a bunch of times about this, trying to find different shit. I also I'm going to use as one of the references. There's a great podcast, Last Podcast on the Left, and they did cover this extensively. So like the research being done. So you'll have a party, okay? That party starts at 8:00. So here you are at the 8:00 party. Everybody's hanging out. You have your Bush, you have Reagan, you have everybody. All the names are there. Obama has been at these parties.
Dodd, or Frank rather, not Dodd. So Barney Frank.
So like all the big names are at this party. So now that 8:00 party goes to 10:00. So people start bailing out here, bailing out there. The 10:00 party starts. So like if you're in the cool crowd, you go to the 10:00 party, and then you hang out, and then everybody, kind of mingles again. Now they'll start bringing out, this kid is an award winner from this. This kid is, he's for the Future Leaders of America group. And this kid is a future farmer of America. Check him out. At 14, he is a dynamo, this kid. So now they're hanging out, and then they go to the 11:00 party. So now the 11:00 party is kind of less than the mainstream, and it starts whittling down till you are now at the 2:00 at night party, where they're hanging out, and who do they got? They have a photographer hanging out there. Oh, taking pictures with the guys, and now you are hanging out with this kid on your lap because they want to get a picture with you with this kid on your lap, because now you have to play ball. It's that whole skull and bones thing. You have to do the dirty, so they know they can trust you.
And the name of that photographer was Rusty Nelson, who does it sounds like some sexual act in itself. I'll give you a Rusty Nelson real quick, half Rusty
pay
Nelson.
A lot. You pay a lot for that in Tijuana.
But he does an awesome shoot interview too on YouTube. You definitely need to look up the Rusty Nelson shoot interview on.
But now he got slammed for they tried to bury him just as much. So again, I know we're hopping all over this because there is a lot to cover on this, and we don't have a 4-hour show, and we can go another 3 hours just getting into all these nooks and crannies of this. So anyway, the point is, now we go back to Paul Benaki. He was one of the first kids that they trusted. They brought him around. They used mind control on him. He's
the kid dressed like fucking Crocodile Dundee, right?
The Marlboro Man in his interview.
Right.
He's all fucked up. Kid's on drugs. He has mental problems. He has multiple personalities. It's from years of torture, and they've buried him over and over and over. He's a drug addict. He's this. He's a gay prostitute. He's that.
They killed his brother.
Well, it's again. You know what? No. Well, I'll go to this for you. There was a death list for this one, okay? Jeez. And the death list, let me just make sure we have this all here. So,
and hold on, and not to get this confused or get any gimmicks misconstrued with the Clinton death list.
No,
totally different.
This is much shorter.
I'm sure they butt up against each
like
other.
NWA, WWF, and AWA, different times, different lists.
All right, so these are the protagonists and possible witnesses for this case, okay? Dan Ryan, Bill Baker, Curtis Tucker, Charlie Rogers, Bill Scalisi, Joe Malik, Mike Lewis. Now, there was a lot on Joe Malik, too. He's a whole other thing on his own. Gary Caradori, Troy Bonner, who was a witness, and Bill Colby, the man we spoke of earlier. He died in a weird canoe accident.
Classic canoes head-on collision.
So now to go back over this list, Dan Ryan was strangled. Bill Baker, blow to the neck. Curtis Tucker threw himself from a window. No reason. Charlie Rogers was fired. Never, Bill Scalise found dead. They just call that found dead. Joe Malik was suicide. Mike Lewis, sudden attack of the diabetes.
Of the diabetes.
Gary Caradori. Now, this was fucked up. Now, Gary Caradori was actually a fighter against. He was trying to take these fuckers down, and he had contacted DeCamp, and he says, "Hey, man, I got something big. I got my kid. We're going to see a baseball game. I'll be back on the weekend. I got something big. We got something solid." So he's flying a plane home, a private plane that he was piloting. I believe he was piloting.
Yes.
With his 8-year-old son.
Him and his 8-year-old son. The plane went down, no reason. However, now this is the little hiccup. The farmer that saw it went down said, I saw something strike the plane.
I'm not laughing at that. He's got the glasses on. He's full fucking Kevin Costner in the courtroom, back into the fucking left.
I love having him host.
He's just a opening statements, motherfucker. Bring him.
You want to fuck with Sal? You want to fuck with the Horsemen? You want to fuck with Sal? You out of your fucking mind?
The chat was right. When I heard these times getting into the 2 a.m., I was like, holy shit, man. This is like a fucking Raw SmackDown review. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Say his name again, Sal.
That is Gary Caradori.
So this plane goes down, and the farmer says that the debris field is 3/4 to a mile, and this is just a small private plane, Cessna style.
Right.
So that means something fucking had to hit it, blow it into a fucking bunch of pieces, and go ahead.
They found child pornography that was not destroyed in the wreckage because this guy was a scummy pornographer.
Well, they supposedly were going to this all-star baseball game, and in Rusty Nelson's shoot interview, he puts over that for the first time in that shoot that he was actually going to Chicago to meet Rusty Nelson to get his papers on it, his photographs. Rusty Nelson, I mean, I want to put him over as a whistleblower, but dude, he was at these parties taking pictures of fucking torture porn. Really, is what his job was as a gay professional photographer into some weird
hold
fucked
on.
up shit.
Didn't Rusty? I'm sorry to cut you off, but didn't Rusty say that there was a second photographer that Larry King made him look like Rusty, meaning that Rusty was styled up in suits. And they used Nancy Reagan's hairdresser and paid $2,000 to curl up his hair and trim his beard and all this nonsense. And that when they asked him to do snuff films and all this pornography stuff, he said no. And they ended up bringing in the second photographer. And then he realized that this guy looks like him, and they were going to use him as a scapegoat.
Then what else were they using him for, though? Like, doesn't that seem wrestling-wise like a passing of the heat type thing? I don't doubt that they did it.
Could very well be. Could very well be. I'm just going verbatim.
Well, that was the other part. When he started giving up all this evidence, they started painting him as a rat who were just trying to save his own ass. Right. So they automatically. So now that's how they painted that. They said, oh, this guy's just trying to keep himself out of jail. He's trying to keep himself from the heat. And that's enough to put doubt in everybody's mind. They're like, why did this guy go along with this for so long? And now because he got busted, now he's gonna drop a dime. Because that's what all these fuckheads do. They all do that.
It's like the Russians.
And with that plane crash, supposedly there was more memoirs and everything where he was naming names. He was giving lists of naming names.
They all disappeared or burned up.
Burned up, or who was first on the scene that was like, where's the briefcase? Where's this? Where's that? And we'll leave the child porn to paint this guy a certain fucking way when this was the smoking gun of. So to me, that means obviously they were watching Rusty's every move. They were watching, forgive me, say his name again with the kid.
Caladori.
They were watching his every move and monitoring all his calls, so they knew his what was going. So they would have the fucking flight plan stooged in, so they could hit him with an RPG like Stevie and fucking Far Cry 5. But nobody's reviving him at this point. He wasn't there kicking the kid's head in after he shot him down out of the sky like Stevie would have been. And the fact that okay, here's the evidence, we got to get this. What CIA spooks were the fucking first on the scene?
Well, that was what the farmer said. The farmer turned around and was like, this government truck showed up out of nowhere.
Classic.
In the middle of bullshit farm town. All of a sudden this truck was there to pick up parts and pick up things, and hey, look what we found, by the way. Check this out, guys. We're going to take this back to the garage. Gone.
Right.
It's all gone. Right. And the final, I don't want to miss him out because he was actually a big part of this, was Troy Bonner. He was put on the stand. They told him, we will kill you. We'll kill your family. You'll go to jail. So then he lied and said none of this happened. And then he recanted and said, fuck it, I got to say it. And then his brother got suicided. Blew his brains out. And then actually Troy was found dead after taking a bunch of sedatives. So eventually they got to him too. So he was the witness. And beforehand, when all of this started coming out, this came out after they busted Larry King, this $2 million credit union. Larry King now had another book where he spent over $40 million.
Yeah. Can we focus on Larry King for just a minute?
Yeah.
So Larry King came into Boys Town, which was started, here we go to Stevie and GGP by a Catholic priest, who
I'm not Catholic.
right away, as soon as I saw this guy's promo, Gaydar's going off, you can see that there's some alternative behind the scenes molestation motive where they pitch it one way so they can get all the charity money coming in, and then at the same time, something's fucked up going on behind the scenes. You just get that feeling, right? So they bring Larry King in, this guy who's a money guy, and is going to get things right. There's 2 sets of books. And Black Caucus, Black Republican, the whole nine of what it is. This guy has one persona, but behind the scenes, a complete sexual deviant, child trafficker, wants snuff films, is just got blackmail stuff on everybody. And, when you say Larry King, you think of the one guy, the old Jewish guy doing his thing, but it's not this. So you need to look him up so you get that image in your head. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, this is kind of one of those fucked up aha moments where the dots get connected. So a kid comes to DeCamp and says, "Look, I have a hard time remembering this, but we got taken to some Indian place. It has a real American Indian name, I don't remember the name, but we go to this big kind of a hangar, and it's like a hut, and we press a button and a door opens up, and then there's a whole living room inside there, and we watched pornography, and he touched me, and we did all this weird shit." So everybody's kind of that makes zero sense. So yeah, okay. And they didn't brush it off, but they have no proof aside from his hazy memory, because the kid was drugged and all kinds of shit. So nobody from Boys Town will talk except Monsignor Robert Hupp. He came out and he was, he's explaining that one of his best friends was one of the people he was the guy who he hung out with this dude all the time. And he goes, I've never seen him do anything inappropriate. I've never seen him touch a child. I've never seen him hang out with children. However, we used to go hunting. So we went up Indian Squaw Hill. There's your Indian name.
Right.
We drove up to this hangar, which is the Quonset huts, which is basically those domed hangars.
Yep.
Drove up. He hit a button. Door opens up. They drive in. It's a full lounged area. And he says there was his TV cable hookup. There was couches. This place was like a Shangri-La, like a little hideaway. And he's like, that's kind of weird that he has this out in the middle of nowhere like this. But you know what? Cool. It's my hunting buddy. We're going to hang out, have some beers, relax, and then go home. And now it hits that fucking boom.
Dude, this is the shit where I'm like, Sal, you can have the 308 GGP. I got the 3030. Stevie, you're on the 12 gauge. I'm just gonna fucking take a Bowie knife and go
now,
fucking
again,
buck wild right here, dude.
To me, this goes the Wolfgang Herbig route with. They didn't come out and say, "Oh, this guy's fucking kids." He pointed out, well, this kid described this before anybody knew about this.
Right.
I'm the only dude who knows about this because this is my buddy. And then all of a sudden it hits and you're like, holy fuck. And he is a Monsignor from Boys Town.
Yeah,
and he's been the only guy to speak from Boys Town on this at all.
But naming the sites of the fill-in, putting the, these two parts aren't symbiotic to each other. One's happening over here and then this is another one. So unless you're doing the research, you're not going to find it, which Sal, hold up your fucking notebook real quick, your beautiful mind notebook real quick so they can see. So they can see, this is the level that this guy's operating at on research for you guys. So all the love to Big Sal at Dead No Save. Go to his pro wrestling tees now and fucking get something if there's anything up there. But
it's a conspiracy theorist when you got to have arrows.
Yeah,
have arrows.
Yeah, Stevie, go ahead. I want you to take it for a minute, Stevie. You always have some good insight. Come on in.
I just don't understand Papadon's. Papadon's analogy is the best. 1% of this, if 1% of this is true, why is nobody just taking? I mean, do they not give a fuck about kids? Are they really what David Icke and all these supposed crazy conspiracy theories think, that they actually thrive on the blood of children? They actually treat children like possessions or less than anything else? I mean, it's just, there's too many stories. Like if even one story came out about us that to this degree, they'd be all over us. Much less we are in the hundreds of stories, not the Franklins, the Clintons, the Bushes, the throughout all of history. There's more stories to prove the theory than to disprove it, and nobody does a goddamn thing. They're sitting on laptops, right, or a laptop right now from Anthony Weiner going on what, a year or two?
Yeah.
Yep. But now, every one of these kids, dude, this goes into something completely bigger again. This goes into a whole circuit of child pornography, child prostitution, kidnapping children. Paul Benacchi said that he kidnapped Johnny Gotch.
Yeah.
Oh, the kid. Fuck. All right. So to go back to Stevie, nobody cares about this because these were all runaways, drug addicts. They took these kids off the street. They'd go to malls, and they would recruit and say, they'd send another teen out, and it would usually be Paul Benacchi, and he'd come out and he'd be like, yeah, you guys want to hang out and get high or drink or whatever, and they'd go, oh, yeah, sure, let's do it, and they'd go and they'd hang out. They'd take them to safe houses, FBI safe houses, CIA safe houses, government safe houses, and drug them and get them fucked up and just keep pounding them over and over with this mind-bending shit.
Keep pounding them in the ass till their assholes were bloody. That's what old boy said there. Fucking Crocodile Dundee.
Okay, like Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Bohemian Grove. Now, Paul Benacchi has, before this was announced as Bohemian Grove, Paul Benacchi told the camp, they took me to the woods, and you had to see the shit was going on there. They did some fucked up shit at Bohemian Grove, and that's when it kind of got spilled out from that Nixon recording. And I want to quote. I want to quote Nixon. I don't want to fuck it up on it. Nixon, that Bohemian Grove, which I attended from time to time, it's the most faggy goddamn thing you'd ever imagine. Because these guys were fucking kids, and they were, fucking each other. They were doing kind of rituals. There's even been Michael Aquino. He is from the sect. That's SET sect of the Church of Satan. He's got pulled into this because they said he was part of the abuse, and he was a military, he was a high-ranking military involved in mind bending, involved in, mind control. And I do want to step out for a second and just, a lot of this stuff that they throw out and they say, they're doing a lot of illegal activities like devil worshiping and, child pornography and things like this. Like, I feel like it's just painting things with a big broad brush on some of these things,
right.
And the people that are involved have nothing to do with these other things at all. You know what I mean? I just find it like. Anyway, I'm just
going to take a time out too, real quick. Disco Ultravolta in the chat room says, "Wait, hold on. What happened with Anthony Weiner? If you guys don't know, he's in fucking jail, sexting multiple times with minors and
15-year-old girl. Dude.
Yeah, 15-year-old girls, and this guy's definitely sexual deviant, and also had his laptop taken, where a lot of this classified information that he kept on Obama and Hillary Clinton was on his desktop. The NYPD is holding on it now, and they're still not fucking releasing it. But they said there's things on there that would make that was making New York PD detectives cry.
Wretch.
Yeah, wretch, and that's possibly what's been going on with Pizzagate, Pedogate, with this same torture. This shit was what, Sal, 80s all through about 92, and you think it stops? It doesn't stop. It just continues underground. Jeremy Epstein, Rape Island, the whole fucking nine, up to these cocksuckers. And this is what the Horsemen are here to do. to expose, to put their names out there. And I thank Sal for putting these names down in a list. So everybody he named, you should watch this episode 3-4 times and research everyone, because I was looking at articles on this. You can just look up the Franklin scandal. You're going to get page after page. But where has this been in the fucking news? This could be a Netflix Making the Murderer follow-up 20-part series. It's buried as fuck.
You know why it got buried? And here's the other thing. But I want to actually cut back to Bohemian Grove. Paul Benacchi has come out and said that they were forced to, and it gets fucked here. They were forced to fuck a dead child and consume part of him at Bohemian Grove.
Believe it.
Then they went down to Vegas, and that's where the Hunter S. Thompson part came in.
So this is what's fucked for me, because I was a big Hunter Thompson fan, and I knew he was a fucking, bourbon fanatic, gun fanatic, But, if you watch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and he talks about the adrenochrome and fucking, that it was taken from pure adrenaline, and, it seems like a funny fucking thing that we all can get in on. But, dude, we're talking about that it was taken possibly from a child who was snuffed out. This dude, Rusty Nelson, that photographer we talked about, they wanted to give him $100,000. Hunter Thompson offered him $100,000 to do to film a snuff film, and he
directs it and Rusty films it.
Right, and he turned it down. Does that mean the snuff film didn't get done? There's plenty of things with them drilling. Yeah,
and they shot him in front of Paul Benacchi, and then Paul Benacchi had to fuck the hole in this kid's head. Like, they forced him to do this and these guys in robes watched, and they made him do this shit. Now, here's the part. Paul Benacchi did it because he didn't want to be shot in the head, and he was been constantly just mind fucked over and over and over. They actually started teaching him how to assassinate people.
Well, now we're talking about MK Ultra trauma-based mind control, right?
And they were hitting him hard because they said, we can do whatever we want to this kid. And they were sending Paul Benacchi out. They were giving him money to go out and get kids and bring him back, and he was doing it. So they're like, fuck it, let's keep training this kid. And they were training him in an art of assassination. They were training him on how to drug people correctly. And this is a 15, 16-year-old kid. And he knew this was now his. Imagine being 15 and 16-year-old in your life and knowing this information. And knowing the things, the people you've brought in and the shit they've done. The kid, Johnny Gotch, there's a series, What Happened to Johnny? It's a documentary. Now there's all that kind of, again, this is a conspiracy that he turned out to be the White House press reporter, the guy with no credentials, the guy with no clearance, but he was at every fucking George Bush press conference throwing out meatball questions. Nobody knew who the kid was, but he was always there. And they're saying that was Johnny Gosch. Johnny Gosch was brought in by Paul Benacchi. Paul Benacchi has said, I was the guy who kidnapped that kid. I brought him with us. I brought him to the van, and the guys grabbed him, pulled him in the fucking van, and knocked him out. Like a fucking 70s, villain.
Right.
This shit happened from like this was going on. But we were talking about why this shit got buried. The people involved. Lawrence King, he managed the Franklin Credit Union.
And sorry, let me just, I know you're going on, but John DeCamp, the only reason this came about is your classic Al Capone. It's about the taxes and they're growing too big, and it's about the money. So let's fucking investigate them. And out of that, because of some fucking fake books and money, all of this fucking starts to spin out, right?
Right. Spence got hit. And now they said, and that was the big headline. Gay prostitution ring, Bush Reagan administration. So now the light was flicked on, all the fucking roaches ran.
Right.
And then that's when it all started coming down, because that's when he got arrested, and then he got suicided in a hotel later. And then Larry King got arrested as well, but his was for money laundering, because now they found the $40 million book.
Yeah.
They found he made a $17,000 a year salary, but he lived in a $5,000 a month condo in Washington.
Had 3 different houses, right? Yeah, there.
Right, dude. So we have Lawrence King, the manager of a $2 million credit union for minorities. That's what it was for. Alan Baer, who was a department store chain heir, and he was a major investor in tons of other shit in Nebraska throughout. Harold W. Anderson, the publisher of the Omaha World Herald. So when all the shit got put out, it went to page 7 or disappeared completely.
So go ahead, Sal.
The shit, well, it got buried in East Coast papers completely because they posted it in New York Times. They hit it in the Post. They hit it in all the New York papers, and it got buried. But it's connections. Robert Wadman, who's the chief of police in Omaha. And then Eugene Mahoney, he was an Omaha vice officer, later the head of Nebraska Forestry, and he has a state park named after him. These were the main dudes who got hit with the first wave of shit.
I feel like Nebraska, I mean, we're all East Coast dudes, man, and we kind of pride ourselves on being assholes, quick-witted, quick, sharp tongue. When you hear Nebraska, it doesn't just seem like nothing bad could ever happen over
Exactly.
there, right?
It's
like,
heartland, man.
So, like, I looked into this other shit too, and it's Aksar Ben. Did you look at the Knights of Aksar Ben? It's AK-SAR-BEN. It's Nebraska spelled backwards, and they do this fucking weird ass thing even now. The king and queen of Aksar Ben, and it's always these old motherfucking high level, super millionaire, billionaire level dudes, and they crown them the king every year, and they dress like royalty, and then they're always with some 20 to 30 something chick, like these 70-year-old dudes. Something fucked up is still seriously going on in Nebraska right now, and if any of our listeners are out there of what this Aksar Ben, they've used it for just a tongue-in-cheek, Aksar Ben, it's really Nebraska, and a lot of people use it when I looked into it, but there's some high-level Illuminati, secret society shit going on there even now, and this is 30 years ago, and because it was swept under the carpet, this behavior's never been corrected. Sorry, Sal.
No.
I just want to hear from these two guys, man. I know we're bulldozing a little bit. You're doing a great job, but I want to hear Stevie and GGP here.
What I wanted to say is Nebraska's not the only place, bro. Mm-hmm. Look how many children go missing every year throughout the country.
1,500 this week, right?
Ridiculous. Now, it's happening in L.A., in Hollywood. It's happening in D.C. Obviously, where that's where all the politicians hang and all the, and Pizzagate and all that nonsense.
Florida is massive.
Florida. It's happening at the Vatican. It's happening in the majority of the Catholic Church. No offense, Stevie. All I'm saying is, unfortunately, religion, the media, and politics are run by pedophiles. And all these kid touchers, I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously, one falls. They all, like you said, the lights are on. They scatter like roaches. They all rat on each other. But they all cover each other's backs so no one gets busted. $67,000 spent on hot dogs by Obama. Come on. Really? You're not allowed to bring food into the White House. You have your own personal chefs because you don't want anyone to poison the president. He's going to spend $67,000 on hot dogs for a party? How many hot dogs you buy for $67,000?
Yeah.
Well, if Nia Jax is coming on,
y'all took my spot. Excellent work right there.
And Bush, all the allegations of Bush as being child touchers from David Icke and pedophiles, him being the skull and bones, and, even though he's in a wheelchair, they still don't release the JFK files so they don't incriminate him. Come on, man, this is ridiculous.
Well, now
it's ridiculous. It's devastating, and it's disturbing and disgusting. They all need to burn.
They said that Benaki had pointed out that they were going to different states. They were sending him. Lawrence King was sending him on government flights. Actually, the same airport where JFK came in on 9/11, where he JFK, sorry.
I was going to say, wow, that's a fucking conspiracy.
Back from the dead on 9/11.
Stevie revived him in Far Cry, and he fucking came back.
Yeah, I did. After Lee Harvey Oswald, after he shot him, hit the square button on his PS4 controller, and revived him.
I'm sorry. Here, get up, buddy. Bush. That's where Bush came in. What was the airport? I can't remember. I can never remember. Offutt Air Force Base. That's where Bush came in on 9/11 after they got him in. they sent Benaki out on this plane because here's the funny part, they still recorded that Lawrence King used the plane for this particular day. Mm-hmm. He's logged in, Lawrence King plus guest, or Lawrence King plus one, or he named somebody else, but he sent Benaki all over the country to go pick up kids and bring them back. And they were brought back on private, government paid for planes. And that was the thing. Like, they were bringing them from everywhere. So they were hitting Florida. They were hitting, Massachusetts. They were hitting Jersey. They were hitting malls. So wherever kids were missing, they were picking them up. And who knows how many times those intersect with, this kid's gone. Where did they go? Where did they go? They disappear because not only are sometimes they got fucking just thrown away because their mind broke and they're like, didn't work out. Or they're just like, didn't work out, and they put a fucking drill through their head. So it one way or another, they were garbage. They were runaways. They got the disenfranchised kids, the teens hanging out, smoking cigarettes behind the mall. They were the kids that they targeted. And then when they started going, they were being sent with requests. We want younger kids. We want, 9, 10 years old. And they would go get these kids from playgrounds, skating, arcades, shit like that, like places where we all hung out.
Who was it that had the book, like the coffee table book? Was it Elephantis? Something happened with Pizzagate, Pedogate. Somebody had a book, like a coffee table book of here's kids we've fucking targeted or that we can go get right now with a fucking van.
So I'm going to go back to Johnny Gosh because his mom.
Yeah.
And this is kind of fucked up. So he disappeared, and of course his parents looked for him, and they were like, we got to find our kid, just like any fucking parent would. And this is back in the 80s. This kid wasn't in a gang, although a bunch of people have said that, Johnny Gosh was in a gang, and he was at 11 years old, man. Like, he wasn't in a gang. He was some, kid delivering his newspapers who got yanked off the street. So his mom started really pushing, trying to find him. She received death threats that told her to stop pushing. Who the fuck says that for a mom looking for their kid? She wasn't looking to uncover White House scandal. She was looking for her fucking kid, and she got a death threat telling her to stop pushing, let it go. And then she got a phone call from a Paul Bishop who claimed he was in the CIA. So Paul Bishop showed up and gave her a catalog of children. And she tried looking him up and everything else. But at the time, you look up the phone.
Right.
His phone number attached to Langley. So she was like, okay. And then he got her a seat with the Organized Crime Senate hearing in the August of 1984 in Washington, D.C. And he says, we need a sane parent to push this. So she showed up with this catalog. And she's like, I have this catalog. And she made a statement. And now everybody started listening to her. If you go and you look her up on YouTube, she seems kind of off the fucking rails, but wouldn't you be?
Sure. Of what's out there, you know what I mean? But you're talking about an off the rails fucking scenario at this point, And
the end of that story goes to Paul Bishop disappeared. There's no phone number. Like, the phone number she had stopped working. It didn't exist. This guy didn't exist. There's no listing for him. He never worked for CIA. There's nothing. This guy was a ghost, but he gave her the info to go.
He's probably covering his tracks.
And he got her a seat in the hearings. Like, he got her there and then was, boom, gone.
That's straight up 1984 Orwell unpersoned is what they would call it, right? Like, you're erased from history. When it comes to the trials that spun out of this, the name we mentioned earlier, Alicia Owens Bystorm or Bystrom, I can't remember. She did all this time because they said she perjured herself, but that's because so much evidence was withheld. And after the fact where she went to jail, all of this evidence was released via FOIA request, and everything that she had said on the stand that she was charged for perjury for lined up perfectly with the flights, with the truth of the drug running to Washington, D.C., with the trafficking, the sex trafficking. So she didn't really, like, whatever the court was bought off, because in this injustice system, it's just ridiculous, even at that point, where people wanted to believe in it in the 80s and 90s, but it was just as corrupt, if not more so than now. She did so much time. I guess she got out 2003, 2004, and she's still in Nebraska, and we're definitely trying to track, the people down from this, Rusty Nelson, who, I don't want to put over too much of like, oh, he's a whistleblower, because, dude, if you're there and you're not fucking turning around, taking a butter knife and jamming it in somebody's eye to fucking get some kids out of harm's way, and you're just worried about your photography career, eat a fucking bag of shit, as far as I'm concerned. So,
If Rusty, if you're listening, give us a holler.
I'll fucking come over and $5 face slap the fuck out of you. But this Alicia Owens, definitely somebody I'm looking for, and I think she's in Nebraska as well, for any of our listeners out there.
Now, here's the deal. They were going through all this. Once Larry King got taken down for his 40 counts of embezzlement, he didn't receive as much time as she did for her 8 counts of perjury.
Right.
The perjury, bitch, by the way, Paul Benacchi backed up and was like, yeah, she's here. She was here. This happened. I know it. I know her because I was there at the I was at the show. I was at the gimmick she was at. So I saw her with this guy, and he named people. He named places, and it all lined up like you said. So after 2 years of this, a judge was like, I want to find out the county. The piece of shit county was Douglas County, Omaha, Nebraska. He found no evidence to base that any of this happened. So he was just like, nah, it never happened. So that being done, Larry King, this is the price he paid. So he was ordered to pay $39 million, and he was sentenced to 15 years for 40 counts of embezzlement, to which he has paid, according to the information, he has paid $25. His wife, who agreed to pay $3 million in a plea bargain, has paid $10 of it. So the fact that all of this was done, they had something close to 21 other kids who showed up, and they got everybody together, and they said 21 fucking kids showed up and said, yeah, this guy did all kinds of shit to me, and they were separated from their counsel for go have lunch. They came back, 22 of them had fucking up and were like, nah, it never happened, we lied. They gave up. And I believe, because it gets sketchy and I can't validate it, like 3 of them were suicided or disappeared. But like the other 20 they just were like, nah, we lied. It was all bullshit. Paul got us to all talk it up. We were all high and did this. So like they all just turned and said he did it, and then they all disappeared. Everybody split. So, they just basically, and again, Paul Benacchi is not a clean kid. He didn't live the perfect life. He got fucked up. And, he's a mess. And you watch that video and you just see.
Yeah, you can see
that fucking face, man.
He puts it over. He's like, I'm a heroin addict. I always will be. They're going to get that out of him. Chat room says, do we blame Shane Douglas, Dean Douglas, or what was the other one?
I still blame Michael Douglas for blaming pussy for his sickness.
The real effing deal Dean Douglas for this. So, or Michael Douglas, yeah, pussy sickness, right? So. Where's the blame lie? It lies on the media, as far as I'm concerned, for covering this shit up. This should be major. Our media is so corrupt. I mean, obviously the people who are doing this shit, this guy's testimony, who was a kid and where they're making them stand there naked, press forearms together and hold a lit cigarette in between to see who's the tough guy while their dicks are touching and things like that. This is the level of psychopathy and sexual deviant that you're dealing with, where they think this is a fucking normal type thing. This goes straight Nazi stuff, just absolute sickness of like, You want to talk about a Holocaust? These are the people who need to be wiped from the fucking face of the earth without a second thought. And if you think this shit isn't going on, it's the fact that this was swept under the rug, 80s, 90s. You get through the sexual deviancy of the Clinton era, and now things like what was Supreme Court justice with the fucking pubic hair fucking carpet, black guy.
Clarence Thomas?
Clarence Thomas. Like, that was like a little fucking like, well, he's got some sexual... Dude, what you saw in the mainstream media now is maybe 1/10 of fucking what this guy was possibly involved with. And these are our Supreme Court justices. So what faith can you even have in the system? All the way to Obama, $65,000 in fucking hot dogs for pedophile code and things like this that are going on. And if you think it's stopped under Trump, I don't believe it has. It's just gone somewhat more underground. And we're not on the witch hunt at this point after 30 years of this, 40 years of this, and the Bohemian Grove is still standing. I would fucking bulldoze Bohemian Grove. I would show up with fucking a half a dozen D10 fucking bulldozers and blast right through the fucking gates with a warrant strapped to the front of it. You know what I mean? Like, all this shit has to end.
The fuck that they keep hiring, they keep hiring these gay waiters.
Yeah, gators.
They're just prostitutes, and they keep hiring the dudes. It's like a summer fucking job. It's like a summer camp where they're like, "Oh, we need fucking Rico to come back because he was a great waiter last year, and he used to make sure there's enough butter on my fucking plate."
Yeah,
it's like they keep hiring these guys thinking they're not going to talk, and they do. They've told everybody. Like, everybody knows. Anybody? Well, hang on. Let me rephrase that. Everybody who has followed Bohemian Grove knows what goes on there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even Alex Jones, exposed it in the work video, whatever it was, with Moloch and all that.
But Nancy Brown doesn't know what the fuck Bohemian Grove is even now. And, I think the big plan is GGP, Stevie, you're both very attractive men. You could be gay waiters undercover, and that's how we're going to fucking get in there and infiltrate at this point. I think it's on both. I mean, Sal and I are not going to be able to
refer to the expert that's holding on to the bear on the bike, and he will be our stooge.
Okay, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We said it before. I said it before. I'm gonna say it again. 1% is true, then the majority of it has to be true.
That's all
Cosby
we need.
math, right?
That's right.
Look, put it this way: Bohemian Grove. That is the key. Because years ago in the 90s, when the Clintons and everything was approached about Bohemian Grove, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never been there. I don't know what it is. Yeah. What is that place? Doesn't exist.
Boys Club, man. That's all.
Right? But it's been exposed. It's real. To the point where it was on television when Kevin Spacey, another kid fucker, in House of Cards, did an episode there.
Right. To normalize it. To normalize the fucking shit.
To normalize it, yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is that if these kids got touched over there in Bohemian Grove when he's saying it happened, but no, he's lying because it's not true, but Bohemian Grove allegedly wasn't true, but it is true, wait a minute, maybe this is true because that one part now exists. So there you go.
Oh, you're spot on with that, bro. And the Nebraska is the perfect cover. Just like I said, as East Coast guys, when you think of Nebraska, nobody would fucking be like, it's all going down in Nebraska, bro. You know what I mean? You're going to think DC. And this comes out with, now think back to the Hollywood Madam, the everything that goes along with that, with fucking Heidi Fleiss, all the bullshit, dude. Like, what that became salacious, I think we're seeing 20% tops of what the fucking reality of that was, dude.
And look at that shit with Charlie Sheen, right? Now, the rumor is that Charlie Sheen was the guy who ran to the cops and said, I saw a snuff film at a Hollywood party. And it turned out it was fake. It was a fake bullshit movie. It was a Japanese thing called Guinea Pig. But Charlie Sheen was the guy who's like, I saw a snuff film. And he reported he fucking dropped the dime on it. So, like, it was at a Hollywood party where this got shown and it was presented as legit. So whether they knew or not, it didn't matter. The point is they that's what they were doing.
Fuck that motherfucker, too. I saw him actually try and go over on Roseanne today, saying now that they're canceled, that opens the door for 2.5 Men reboot. And I was like, fuck you, you piece of shit. You can hang, too. Stevie, take us there. I'm going to come back to Sal. Sal, I just wanted to say you've done a fucking wonderful job. With this, one of the best shows I think we've had. Like the amount of research you did, I know the chat room here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman absolutely respects and loves it. I was happy to go down this rabbit hole with you. I knew you, and you prefaced it with saying, "Hacker, you're gonna get fucking hot as it can be," because this shit gets me super hyped up, and all I want to do is apply for a license to kill and then go out to, because all these people in fucking Nebraska, like that we've named already, who've either been on a kill list or have been tried, that's fine, dude. That's maybe, think about everybody in 1 degree of separation just from the 20 names that we've put out there tonight. They're in it too, because they didn't fucking speak up, or else they're keeping secrets, and there's more going on out there. So if you're a Nebraska listener, stooge it off to us. We're ready to fucking expose.
And you know what? Even if you're not, even if you're from Ohio or somewhere else, and this shit's going on, where you guys got that, you got that government boys club, because it happens all over,
everywhere.
You know what I mean? So stooge that shit off too. Not just Nebraska.
What about this? How about that link that you recently someone shared on Sal? It was you who shared it on the group talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg trying to lower the age of consent from 18 to 12.
12 years old.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You're right there, bro. I'm making the fucking noose. I've got it over the tree. I'm ready to fucking string her up, bro.
Dude, she's on the Supreme Court. What the fuck?
Yoker. She's done. She's done with me.
I was trying to remember who that was, and it's even more terrible than who I could have guessed. It's an actual Supreme Court justice.
Yeah, I
will kick the fucking soapbox out from under her feet and watch her neck snap.
Listen, Supreme Court justice, right? That's one person. Everyone that Sal mentioned, the Omaha Police Department, all these people in business, all these leaders in government. How many people in the last 2 years or year and a half that are in government, whether they're on a state level or a regional level, have been caught with child pornography or child molestation? And on top of that, then the Pizzagate comes out with child trafficking, and the HRC Foundation, the Clinton Foundation and HRC stealing money and kids from Haiti. What about all the DACA kids that just going missing? 1,500 kids. Where the hell did they go? You know what I'm saying? It's not coincidental that all this is happening. It is very, very unnerving to know that we live in a world where kids are getting taken advantage of, and these fuckers are getting away with it when they need to be strung up and made an example of in the middle of Times Square, tarred and feathered and fucking branded. Because this is disgusting, dude. Even if it goes all the way to the fucking president of the United States, current president, even standing him. There's rumors he raped a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
They've already put him out there as that, and the fact is, the people that are putting that out there, they're discounting what's already happened, and they're starting from Donald Trump.
But you guys said it best. New York Police Department, 2 years, they have a fucking laptop where they have an alleged video of Huma Abedin and Hillary Clinton having a threesome with an underage girl and supposedly ripping off her face and wearing it as a mask. That's what. Who knows if it's true? But regardless of the fact that they say something on that laptop that made grown men cry in the police department, and it's sitting there in evidence lockup allegedly, and nothing's been done. Why? Is the NYPD commissioner and the heads of the NYPD police department involved in this? I mean, come on, man. This is ridiculous.
Yep.
There's so much evidence pointing to all this injustice, but nothing is being done. Nothing.
Fucking gut him from cunt to chin, dude. Fuck him.
I'm sorry, man. This just gets me heated.
No, this is where we were going to go tonight, and I knew we were going to end this way. I'm glad we started with mailbag, because we would be in a fucking space. There's no way that you can't have a visceral reaction of fucking let's burn the fucking entire village at this point, right? Of Hollywood, of Nebraska to D.C. to all of them. And the Horsemen are hunting for you, and you want to fucking fuck around and act like, oh, I can't say this or I can't say that. You're talking about First Amendment, real motherfuckers right here, real workers. And if you come at me, you're going to get it twice as hard. Not intimidation. Nobody out there is fucking intimidating me in that way, or any of us, I believe, at this point. So, again, I just want to say appreciate our audience out there for bearing with us on this.
Thanks for sticking with us on this.
Look to the Franklin scandal. This is something.
Conspiracy of silence, and that's like that.
Yep.
That will sum up everything that I just was like. I just threw around.
You did
that
a great
will sum up
job.
everything for you guys.
You did a great job,
Tremendous
Sal. Go ahead.
Tremendous job. But I got a quick question.
Yeah.
This fucker Larry King got 15 years in jail. This happened mid-90s. That means he's out.
Yeah.
Anybody can be gotten to, and that's what I'm saying. Alicia Owens, Larry King, you fucking come with it. You're not safe. You think you're fucking safe? You ain't safe. You think you're over? You ain't over. Fucking Stevie Richards is over. God damn it.
You got to Vince there. Oh, okay, look at my hips.
Yeah, that's right. I'll show you how to fucking twerk.
The chat is legitimately worried that we're all going to get suicide.
Fucking come with
let's
it.
leave this out right now. None of us.
Waiting for my little
are
wife
suicidal.
to peek around the green screen and start listening.
I'll tell you what right now, to the chat, to the fucking Hacker Hamian Army, to the Realm Brand subscribers, you're part of this fucking movement. And when we do shows like this that are unabashed with no fear, it's because this shit needs to be heard, seen, followed, exposed, and brought back out of the fucking darkness, because we'll never move forward as conspiracy theorists, as a humanity, unless we come together and do that shit. And there's strength in numbers. So, hey, if GGP gets whacked out, then we got to fucking go to bat for him. You know what I mean? Like,
Why do I got to be the first one to get whacked out? Because I'm the darkest one out of all you guys?
No, because you
Is that
went
how
and
it
took a
goes?
piss. You couldn't hang in, and you had to fucking go. You're the first one out. Then that's the price we fucking pay. But we're gonna be 10 times stronger after that fact. So it's about approaching this shit with no fear. Because if you show an inkling that you would back down from them, then they got the fucking upper hand, and truth will always win out at the end of the fucking day. Plus, I had a fucking good run. I don't give a motherfuck at this point. So.
Heim 265. If something happens to Stevie, can I have his fitness band?
You're gonna have to unload a couple racks, dumbbells, 3 pieces of cardio equipment, 22 heavy fitness gym tiles.
Tell Christy if you get suicided, we'll have to.
Don't say her name on it. You're
I didn't.
exposing
Come
everything
on.
up. First, you
my
exposed
God.
the name of the pre-workout, now the name of my wife.
Andrew Hill.
God damn it.
Oh shit. Fuck.
You want to get my fucking
the
bank
Andrew
account
Hill of the
number while you're at
Horsemen.
it?
Look at this guy.
Put the heat back on sale. I love it, man. But this was a red hot episode of Conspiracy Horsemen, you guys, and we appreciate you hanging in, and we look forward to you guys doing research, finding out for yourself, getting fucking red hot and pissed off, and putting the heat back on these cocksuckers, because that's where it all belongs. It's not about here or what we're talking about. It's about their inexcusable, unforgivable actions. I don't care how much jail time, short of lighting some irons up and castrating them all. That's the only thing that would be apropos at this point. So y'all, let's do some pitches on the way out. But this Sal, once again, awesome job, brother. Sally, hit him up. Let him know, man.
Look at how hot Stevie is now.
He's red hot.
Hasn't been as angry the whole show. Now
I
he's
know.
angry at me.
He's like, fuck my wife, dude.
Whoa, you didn't say that.
No, not fucking,
Jesus
Rage,
Christ.
not raging bulge. You fuck my wife. Not like that. He's like, you can't believe this guy stooged it off.
Anyway, so the only thing we got is for June 30th. I believe. Actually, you know what? Maybe we should keep that quiet, because otherwise, that's where they're going to get us all. That's where the bomb goes off.
Yeah, that's where we're all in the same spot.
Okay, so listen, if something happens at Envy Show, we know what happened.
If something happens on 6:30 to the Horsemen at Dynasty, you guys, it's time to ride. It's time to mount up, grab your machetes and let's do
Burn
this.
down Washington.
GGP,
that's all I got.
All right, GGP, what's up?
Let's see. The 15th of June, I'm in Brooklyn for Five Borough Wrestling. 16th, I'm in Florida for Ronin 19. The 23rd, I'm back in Florida, Full Throttle Pro Wrestling. Well, first, let me backtrack. Ronin, it'll be myself and Alex Chamberlain versus Mike Orlando and Mick Drake. I don't know who I'm wrestling. at Five Borough Wrestling. The 23rd, I'll be at Full Throttle Pro Wrestling in Florida, where I'll be wrestling Sam Shaw for the number one contendership. The 30th, now I go to find out today as I'm talking to Chris Envy, as I was with you guys, I may not be there. So, yeah, exactly. He says it's not finalized. I was like, what?
It'll be finalized. Hackers got it.
So either the 30th, I'm going to be at Dynasty Pro Wrestling alongside my Horseman brother, or I'll be at NYWC.
You'll be there, Infidel.
Well, you kind of have to be there because we're trying to film some content for the YouTube series too.
Yeah. Oh, I understand that. But if he's not going to pay me and he's telling me I'm not booked, I'm not going.
Oh, shit. No, don't try and strong arm Envy here. You'll be there. Hackers got it covered.
Anyhow, regardless of the fact, that little freaking angry midget.
It's a mystery why you're not getting booked.
Yeah, I can't fucking get why you don't do business.
Can't put my finger on why it's
somebody could call you. Somebody could call you the
Look
angry
who
midget
woke
of the
up.
group
Look
too.
who finally woke up. Huh?
Somebody could call you the angry midget of the group too.
They could. You guys are all taller than me. So
Stevie, did you notice?
I'm the midget of the group.
He's 5'7".
But regardless of the fact, all right, listen.
5'5", he's angry.
5'5". Fuck you, 5'5". I'm 5'10", you fucking prick.
Yeah, you wish.
Social media at Greek God Papadon on Twitter, Demetrius Papadon on Facebook, Pro Wrestling Tees / Greek God Papadon. They're gonna have their 5-year sale. Where you get 5 shirts, get an automatic 25% off. So buy your 5 GGP shirts or Conspiracy Horseman shirts. The new GGP shirts on there right now that everyone loves. And then there is my YouTube page. Go subscribe. You get all the matches and promos that I put up there. Greek God Papadon.
Yo, Stevie, tell him what's up, bro.
Well, I'm afraid to tell the deep state where I'm going to be.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too. We're giving them the roadmap of like, come hit me.
Yeah. Kill me right here at this time, please. I will be at the ECW arena. Somebody's going to kill me there eventually anyway. It seems like keep going back.
There's a good chance you're going to die there anyway.
Yeah, the government won't get me.
Yeah.
But great inexperience will get me eventually. June 2nd, I'll be there for Wildcat Wrestling. Please come out and support it. I just heard that it will be on iPay-per-view too.
Cool.
So they're going to have it on VOD. So hopefully I'll see Sal down there so I don't go down alone.
Human shield. Human shield right there.
I'll wear a mustache.
I'm informed every episode, too, of that the life insurance my wife has at her work goes both ways. So
Nice.
we're all prepped for that. Other than that, I want to tell people the YouTube subscriber base has really been growing since I've concentrated more on the fitness and nutrition stuff. So it's grown pretty good over the past week. So go to StevieRichardsFitness.com. Click on the YouTube, or if you follow me at Instagram at Stevie Richards, I'm putting call to action, swipe up to view, swipe up to subscribe, and you can go that way too. But if you want to, can't even say it. I'm so nervous. I got a fucking gun to my head, it feels like. Yeah, if you want to invest in the 12-week resistance band program with direct email support with me, also the closed Facebook group, we're getting a lot of people getting results, and there he is, Shemp.
Yeah, buddy.
They can't protect me from all the way in Pennsylvania. So what am I supposed to do? I have 2 cats that just to eat. What are they going to do? Trip over their litter?
It's enough warning.
Other than that, ProWrestlingTees.com/Stevie Richards. Also, catch me and Sal possibly streaming on the Conspiracy Horseman Twitch channel.
Sal and I.
You'll get to see. No, psychopaths say Sal and me. So you'll get.
He is a psychopath.
You'll get to see me
Murder people.
blow off some steam.
And by steam, he means people's heads that he kicks after he shoots them.
I'll say, who's Steam?
Did you ever notice? Have you met Sharky yet in the game?
No.
The guy with the flamethrower? He looks just like Chris Envy.
Really?
He's like this little skinny dude. He's great.
Y'all.
So is he wearing his sister's pants like Envy wears?
Oh, shit. Speaking of Envy, I'll be at Dynasty June 2nd, face-to-face with Muhammad Hassan once again. Infidels, that's right, Muhammad. You ducked me. I brought you back, and you didn't do the business I wanted to. So June 2nd, you will answer to Hacker Hameen face-to-face. June 9th and 10th, I'm at Flower City Comic-Con, Rochester. Jake the Snake Roberts, Leva Bates, Upstate Pro Wrestling, Colin Delaney all in the house. I'm facing Jason Savior on that one. So match just announced. 15th, Ha 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 Mean at Floyd's or at Johnny B in Floyd, New York with Comedy Central CNY. And let's see what else I got coming up. Crossfire, I'm back there for Redemption 2 with my man Jay Moore taking on Tyler Turva. And then the 30th, I'll be back at Dynasty again in Rome, New York with my Conspiracy Horsemen Brothers Infidels. No one will stop us. We fear none of you infidels out there, you evildoers. The Horsemen will ride strong upon you. Have no sound night's sleep because the truth seekers are here. The Hacker Hameen army is building. The pulse is building against you, and you should live in fear, infidels, because the Conspiracy Horsemen are over strong all day long. Y'all.
The Horsemen and the Horsemen are over strong.
That's right. ProWrestlingTees.com/Ben Hameen, 25% off. Y'all.